Teams gather around their respective coaches. This one then will be underway, and John Madden, despite the light drizzle in the mid-50s, wearing a short-sleeve shirt down there in the field today. Scotty, we talk about what does a home stadium mean. The Raiders have been in this Coliseum 9 years. They won 55, lost 11, and tied 3. Miami, since Shula brought excellence to the Orange Bowl, has won 37, lost 2, and tied none in the Orange Bowl.
No question about it. Two factors that are very important in that, Bill. Number one is, when you have to go on a road, as you well know, it's a disrupting thing. You have to fly, particularly when you're going across country. It's very wearying, and then there's the jet lag. Number two, unquestionably, fan reaction plays a tremendous part in a game as emotional as football. And I think those are the two key reasons why, with good football teams, the home advantage is important.
Matt Moore and Hubert Ginn wait near the north goal line to our left. George Jakovenko, the Raiders will kick off from the 35-yard line on our right, moving from our right to our left. We're set to go. And the move on the ball. Here's the side-winding kick. High end over end, not real deep. Drifting up. Moore takes it on the 11. The rookie up to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, 30. Clears out to the left, the 35, 40. Gets a great block, the 50. Up the left side, being chased by Jakovenko, the 30, the 20, the 15, the 10. Touchdown, Miami! Holy Toledo! What an opener! $89 yards. Matt Moore for the kickoff return, and Miami leads 6-0. As he broke through at around the 30 to 35-yard line, he wheeled out to the left and found the lane, and Jakovenko could not catch it. Now here's Gero Euphemian trying for the conversion. It's snapped and spotted. It's kicked up. It is good. And so the Miami Dolphins lead the Raiders 7-0 with only 15 seconds of this football game having elapsed. The Raiders have not had a run back like that against them all year on a kickoff. Warren Bankston almost had it as he broke through that one tack. And then there was an excellent block farther upfield. At about the 40 that let Moore get to the outside. Scotty, I can't help but remember the first play ever for the Miami Dolphins. Their first season, their first game, 1966, Orange Bowl against the Oakland Raiders, season opener. A fellow named Joe Auer ran back the opening kickoff for 95 yards and a touchdown.
And the guy who was with that club at the time, with Miami, Jimmy Warren, now with Oakland, was one of two guys who had a real shot at Moore, but Jimmy got blocked at about the 30, and Mike Jennery, the linebacker, pulled up with what looked to be a pulled muscle, perhaps a hamstring, at about the 25.
Now the Dolphin kickoff goes toward the Raiders. Hart takes it up to the 11, up to the 15, the 20, the 25, sidestep, barrels to the 30, and he's in a pack and brought down at 31-yard line. Harold Hart brought down by Don Nottingham, the reserve fullback. Now the Oakland Raiders with their offensive unit, Stabler at quarterback. Clarence Davis and Marv Hubbard, the running backs. Wide receivers, Cliff Branch and Fred Biletnikoff. The tight end, Bob Moore. From left to right in the interior line, Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, Jim Otto, George Peeler, and John Bella. Miami leads 7-0. That's the only thing we didn't talk about in the pregame show is a return kickoff for a touchdown. Give you the Dolphin defense in a moment. Stabler under center. Odd defense puts Hines over the center. Davis now skitters through a hole up to the 35-yard line up the middle, and a knot of tacklers led by Bob Matheson knocks him down. The Dolphins front four, very well known, once the no-namers. At left end, Vern Den Herder. Left tackle, Manny Fernandez from San Lorenzo. The right tackle, Bob Hines. The right end, Bill Stanfill. The middle linebacker, the great Nick Buonaconti. The right linebacker, Mike Colin. The left linebacker, Bob Matheson, who's been a regular since Doug Swift went down with a broken arm in midseason. More later. Here's Branch to the left. Biletnikoff to the right at 2nd and 6. Buonaconti jams in the middle and then drops off the line of scrimmage, and here's a handoff to Hubbard. Hubbard blows by Buonaconti and blasts up to the 39-yard line. The Raiders on the snap caught the Dolphins at a little shift at the line of scrimmage, and I think they used it to advantage. Bob Hines finally made the tackle.
Well, Hubbard made a little move, Bill. He spotted that, too, when he came up to the line. It looked like he had intended originally to go left off tackle, but he made a move back inside between the guard and the center because he saw that shift by the Dolphins. Raiders about a yard and a half short of the first down on third down.
Third down, almost two. Tim Foley is the left corner. Curtis Schatz in the right corner. The safeties are Dick Anderson and Jake Scott for the Dolphins. Now they slot Branch to the left inside Biletnikoff. First third down play of the day. Hand off to Hubbard. He blows across the 41, and I think he made it. Stanfill stopped him, threw him back a bit, but it appeared that he had the 41 or 42-yard line before Stanfill and Hines made the tackle. First down, Oakland. They trail 7-0. The ball game exactly 2 minutes old at this instant. Nat Moore, the rookie. 5'9½", 180 from the University of Florida. Who's been a big factor for this club. Ran back that opening kickoff 89 yards for the touchdown. Branch to the left against Johnson. Biletnikoff goes out to the right against Foley. Hand off to Hubbard. Hubbard doesn't make much and is blasted back by Buonaconti along with Jake Scott and Manny Fernandez. Trying to go over right guard. There was a little bit of a hole, but the play didn't really develop crisply and it was jammed back in. Now the Dolphins bring in Larry Ball for Bob Hines. With Matheson a regular, they bring in Ball as their fourth linebacker in what they call their 53 defense, or what corresponds to the Oakland Orange.
Nat Moore, incidentally, is 1-2-3rd in the final league's passing kickoff returns. He's returned 22 for 587 yards, 26.7, but had not scored a touchdown until this one today.
Branch to the left, Biletnikoff to the right. Saber ducks back for his first pass of the day. He looks. He throws upfield in the middle of the zone. It's deflected. It is intercepted by Anderson at the 30-yard line. That's the 35. Back to the 40, middle of the field, the 45. He's brought down at the 48. Bob Matheson deflected the pass in front of Branch, and Anderson behind Branch made the catch. There were 4 men in that area of the zone. Marv Hubbard made the tackle on Anderson's return. The Dolphins did not have the interception record they did in past season, only 16, but they get off to a good start here as it's timeout on the field. 11:49 to go in the first quarter. The scoreboard showing Miami 7 and Oakland nothing. With a field general of Greasy's caliber, they couldn't be more advantageous than to start where they are right now, Scotty, on their own 48-yard line.
I would have thought before the game that Don Schuler, the Miami coach, would have accepted this field position after the opening kickoff. Instead, he got a touchdown on the opening kickoff. An interception puts him on his own 48. You can't ask for much more than that.
Now the Dolphins with Warfield wide to the left, Nat Moore to the right, Benny Malone in the backfield along with Zonka. First and 10. Greasy with his first play for scrimmage today. And he gets to Zonka. Zonka drives over left tackle to the 49-yard line of the Raiders. Stopped by Horace Jones. A gain of 3. Flag was down. So the Dolphins look as if they're going to benefit from an Oakland penalty here. Personal foul. I didn't see against whom it was called. 15 yards. It was on the tackle. I think after Jones hit him, they rolled it. Somebody came in late. Connors and Jones stopped him. Don Nottingham, the man they call the human bowling ball, has been a very valuable backup fullback this year and has scored some key touchdowns, is now in. He scored 8 touchdowns rushing. He's in for Zonka. Warfield to the left is first and 10 in the Oakland 34, and things have gone sour early for the Raiders. Here's a double wing now. Greasy with a long count. Now he gives to Malone, and Malone is hit by Connors and buried at the 35. He loses a yard. Connors had immediate help from Villapiano and Horace Jones. So it'll be second and 11. Zonka comes back in now for Nottingham. The Raiders really have to try to turn the momentum of this game around by themselves here. One turnover they've suffered already. And they must try to achieve some turnovers of their own to take away from the Dolphins. The Raiders put 13 men on the field. Now they bring 2 off. They had extra backs, and they've got an orange defense now. And the Dolphins, Greasy goes over to say something to the official. Now, Greasy's used up a lot of his time. He gets off the play, however, to Zonka. Zonka is trapped at the line of scrimmage and gets very little. He's thrown back by the entire left side of the Raider line. They try to go over Norm Evans, the right tackle. All right, here's a wrinkle in the game. Madden sent in Monty Johnson and somebody else. So they had 13 men in the huddle, and they didn't bring 2 men out to the required 11 until the Dolphins broke their offensive huddle.
Now, we saw this earlier in the year. Henry Stram of Kansas City, the great innovator, did this. He feels it would give the defense just a little bit of an edge because it puts some question in the quarterback's mind as to what that defense will do.
3rd and 9. Tim Mandage is in at tight end for the Dolphins. Jim Kick is in with Zonka in the backfield. The Raiders bring Monty Johnson off, but they have 5 defensive backs with Warren in now. Oh, this is going to be a tactical beaut today. To the left is Warfield, to the right is Moore. That's Nat Moore. And a Raider jumped outside. Back goes Greasy setting up. Play is being blown dead, however, before he can execute. Somebody, I think it was Tom, came over the middle, but he may have been drawn. He was. Illegal procedure. Now, it's delay of the game. It is delay of the game. I had not seen the preliminary sign. Tom came across the line of scrimmage, but that was immaterial because the Dolphins used too much time. It is now 3rd and 14. Monty Johnson can get rid of the huddle, but nobody comes off yet. So they don't disclose to the Dolphins until the last second when they come up to the line of scrimmage what their defense is in the way of personnel. Now, Warren is drifting off as if he's coming out of here, but that's a decoy. Here comes Monty Johnson out. So you got 4 rushers up there. Now back to pass. Greasy again, setting up. Looks deep, going to Warfield behind the defense, and he is incomplete. He was cut down by double teaming on the goal line. The Dolphins are angry. They're screaming over there that it was pass interference. For a moment, Warfield broke between the 2 defenders and got behind them. But then the pass didn't lead him enough. He tripped over Jack Tatum, who was back there to help out Nehemiah Wilson. Larry Seifel comes over to punt, or comes in to punt. The Raiders hold the ball on the 38-yard line of Oakland. 7-0 Miami on the opening kickoff return by Nat Morris. The snap. Seifel doesn't punt them wrong, but he punts them very accurately and hangs them well. He slices this one out of bounds, going for the left sideline. It went out in the vicinity of the 10. They put it on the 13, where the official marks it. Time is out on the field. With 9:42 to go, we're in the first quarter, and the scoreboard shows Miami 7, Oakland nothing.
So we discussed before the game how Shula might attack Oakland's orange defense. That's a 3-down lineman and the 4 linebackers. And, of course, they get into a 5th defensive back. Oakland today, with this little bit of deception, picking up, borrowing something from Kansas City, of course, puts a burden on Shula in that respect. More directly, Greasy. He just can't call that thing in a huddle. He may have to audibilize.
1st and 10 on the 13. Branch to the left. Bolitnikoff to the right. The handoff goes to Clarence Davis, who slants hard over the 15 up to the 17.5-yard line, knocked down by Matheson, the left linebacker. Incidentally, I haven't mentioned that since the kickoff, Scotty, I think the actual precipitation has ceased. The air is very thick with a hazy, misty feel to it, but I don't believe we're getting anything really coming down. They go to the 53 defense now with Ball coming into the ballgame for Hines. Ball lines up outside Ben Herter at left end, but in the standing position. Here's a handoff to Hubbard, a big hole up the middle, and he plows his way to the 25-yard line, tackled by Johnson, and it's a first down Oakland. Oh, the Raider middle that time did a whale of a blocking job as Hubbard had that big area to rumble through. Here's Hines coming in now for Ball. So they've got 4 rushers again as the Raiders have the ball on their own 25, trailing 7-0. Stabler running the club. Of course, he was voted this week as the most valuable player in the AFC. Branch slots left inside Bolitnikoff. Quick count, give to Hubbard. Runs right into the middle of the defense and is driven back and knocked down by Stansfield, the right linebacker. As Hubbard was trying to go over Gene Upshaw's left guard position, but Uppy couldn't budge anybody, and he was driven right back into the ball carrier. Now back in comes Larry Ball for the Dolphins, replacing Hines. The fog over and around the Coliseum here seems to be very thin because the sun at times acts as if it might even break through. It's much lighter than it was. Branch to the left, Bolitnikoff to the right. Dolphins have Fernandez right over the head of Jim Otto. Man in motion to the right is Davis. Back to pass goes Stabler. He's 0 for 1. There's a long pass intended for Branch up the left side against Johnson. He can't hold on. That's a 33-yard line, left sideline. Johnson looked like he might have a beat on it all the way. Branch suddenly spurted a step past him, but couldn't hang on to the pass. It would have been a great catch had he made it. He hesitated a little bit and then sped out, which decoyed Johnson just enough, but he couldn't hold on.
He was running absolutely with his back to the ball, Bill, and had to come up over his own face mat. Very tough. He couldn't even turn around. So one thing different between the game last year and this, Oakland much more familiar with the 53 or the orange because they use it themselves and work against it all week. That wasn't the case last year.
Now 3rd 10, slot right. Here comes the blitz up the middle. They pick it up. He looks, he throws. Bolitnikoff for the comeback, takes the tackler at the 35 and dives to the 40 for a first down. Fred made a good catch in front of Tim Foley, the left quarterback. right at the 36 and peeled back, took the tackler, and got about 4 more. Biletnikoff was caught 450 career passes. 14th in the all-time list. Number 1 active in the AFC. And he's become very adept at this particular hook or comeback pattern under the zone defenses. Now, splitting left is Branch. To the right, Biletnikoff. Raiders trying to take it a little bit at a time, except for the one they went to Branch and didn't complete. Hand off to Hubbard. Tricked up nicely by Matheson at the 41. He submarined the play as Hubbard began to accelerate. It'll be 2nd and 9. They bring ball back in now for Hines in the orange defense. Dolphins very seldom play around with their secondary going to 5 defensive backs as the Raiders do.
They have great confidence in that zone, Bill, as well they might. Schuler's been very successful with it, not only at Miami, but before that at Baltimore, where he went to Super Bowls.
John Madden, by the way, has put on a parka now. Branch to the left, Biletnikoff to the right. Back to pass Stabler. Good blocking. Now he throws badly. Trying to lay it off to Bob Moore out to the right. He was kind of a safety valve at the 45, but Foley coming up on the rotating zone had him covered. And Stabler may have thrown it low and into the dirt deliberately because it was not an easy pass to complete to Moore, and he probably wouldn't have gained much on it had he made the catch.
This is the tough down against Miami in that very, very disciplined zone. 3rd and 9. They figure you almost have to go to the air. And, of course, they can put pretty good pass rush on, and they sit back in those tight zones. It's very difficult down against Miami.
Ball lines up outside the right end this time. Branch left, Biletnikoff right back to pass. They pick up the rush. There's a hand pass to Branch, and he's dropped at the 49. Short of the first down. Good tackle by Charlie Babb, who is in the secondary now. Babb replaced Jake Scott. I don't know whether Scott was hurt or not. And the Raiders are going to punt here with a 4th and 1. They trail 7-0. Dropping back in single safety is Nat Moore, who killed the Raiders with that 89-yard kickoff return. Now the Dolphins drop 2 more men back in short positions. Babb and Anderson as Guy takes the snap, strides into his punt, lifts up beauty, drifting high, Moore back. And it's landing in the 4 and bounding into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback as Guy Boots won 51 yards, but the Dolphins get it out on their own 20. Timeout on the field. 5:25 to go. First quarter, and the scoreboard shows Miami 7, Oakland nothing. The Dolphin offense has run only 5 plays thus far. Here they are with their second possession on the 20-yard line, but that kickoff return gives them the 7-0 lead. They have Benny Malone and Zonka in the backfield. Warfield goes to the left. Out to the right comes Nat Moore. Breezy gets to Zonka, sends him powering off left tackle, and he is knocked down at the 25 as he picks up 5. Horace Jones touching at him. Wayne Moore and Jim Kuchenberg, the left tackle and the left guard, just power out that time. Zonka slants. It'll be 2nd and 5. Now, that's the thing we were talking about in the pregame show. If they can carve out 5.5 yards, 6 yards a pop on first down, they get you where they want you. Slot left for the first time today. The wide man is Moore. Picked up by Wilson. The slot back, of course, is Warfield, picked up by Skip Thomas. And the handoff here goes to Malone. He dives across the 30 to the 32. Quick start that time. The defense stacked up the blocking. Kuchenberg right at the line of scrimmage. Connors submarined him, but Moore just dived over the top. We'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Oakland Raiders Football Network. Miami 1st and 10. It's important to the Raiders if they can contain the Dolphins here and force them to punt before they drive deep in Oakland territory. Momentum, lots of factors involved. Here's a handoff to Zonka over left guard. Booth past the 35, carries a tackler with him up to the 38. And Zonka beginning to get some momentum now. He limps a little bit as he goes back to the huddle, but he plays very effectively hurt.
The key against Zonka, of course, is for the big defensive lineman to get a good hit on him because he's so big and strong. He's bigger than most linebackers and bigger than any defensive back, and they have a tough time with him. That's why he gets those 8 yards, because he gets the 3 yards, once he gets beyond that defensive line. That's where you got to stop him.
He had almost 6 that time. It's 2nd and 4. More to the right with Warfield in the slot. They give it to Zonka. He's hit by Villapiano and just breaks right through up to the 41. Phil hit him, and he went 3 yards with Villapiano hanging on before Tom came to his help. He's just like a big workhorse shaking off a couple of gnats. Swish his tail, and off they go. 3rd down and about 1. Moore goes out of there. They bring in Mandich, so they'll have double tight ends. sun again seems to be penetrating more effectively against the overhead fog. Now tight blocking up front. Warfield close flanked about a yard to the right. Raiders jam in a bit in the middle. 3rd and 1. Now the handoff to Malone. Malone follows Zonka through. First down to the 45. Still on his feet. Finally driven back, but he has progress to the 45 where Iron stopped it. That's another thing Zonka can do. He can lead the way through that hole. And that's exactly what he did that time. Now the Dolphins go back to their regular wide receivers. On this possession, Scotty, the Raiders have not at all used their deception defensive huddle. Going with Bubba and Sistron, Toms and Jones up front, Villapiano, Connors, and Irons the linebackers, Thomas and Wilson the corners, and Atkinson and Tatum the safeties. Slot left Miami. Ball in their own 46, first down. Gracie backpedals into the pocket. He looks, he rifles it quick out to Moore. Makes the catch at the 48 of the Raiders. Down to the 40. And upended by Nehemiah Wilson at the 38. Just inside the sideline. 1st and 10. Now, Gracie nibbling away at the Raider defense. The Raider cornerbacks were dropping off deep to protect against both Moore and Warfield, who are deep threats, and Moore ran the short pattern to the sideline. Now they've advanced to they put it up just inside the 38-yard line of the Raiders. The crowd has been rather severely quieted since the opening kickoff, which Moore returned 89 yards for a score. Back to the eye this time with Warfield left and Moore out to the right. Hand off to Zonka, the up back, and he piles over the right side down to about the 34-yard line with Fleming, the tight end, leading the blocking. Connors, Bubba Smith helped in the tackle. They put it on the 33, and Scotty, it's 5 a pop every first down. Just exactly what we were talking about in last year's game in December.
Exactly, and of course, they don't have to worry about throwing the ball when they come up to these downs. Even when they went to Moore, it was 1st and 10, not necessarily a throwing down. I think that's why you're not going to see Oakland with their deception, because they haven't had those tough throwing downs.
Treasy's 1 for 2 right now. That completion a few moments ago. Warfield to the left, Nat Moore to the right. Long count, and Kuchenberg jumps the count at left guard. He went a count too soon. Illegal procedure, flags fall. It'll be 2nd and 10. The Dolphins, coming into this game, mark the 5th consecutive season that they are in the playoffs, all since Shula's arrival. Overall in the playoffs, they've won 8 and lost 2. At home, they're 4-0. Away from home, 4-2. Now they bring Mandich on at tight end. He's a pass catcher at that position. He's caught 33 this year, averaging a little over 11 yards a carry, 6 of them for touchdowns. The Raiders going to their deception huddle, and now they've got an orange defense in with Monty Johnson. Monty lines up defensively speaking on the right side. Warfield to the left for the Dolphins. Moore to the right. Here's a trap play to Brook it up. Great play. Out comes Neil Malone at the line of scrimmage. That's a play that if you get past that first line of defense, a guy like Malone can get big yardage in the secondary. But it's 3rd and 9.5. They gained, well, it's 3rd and 9 they put it down now. Barely a yard. And they bring on Jim Kicks, the 2 power backs, Kick and Zonka here on 3rd down.
And, of course, Kick from the halfback position has been a very valuable receiver for the Dolphins, and the Raiders are aware of that. They'll look for Kick to be out there in that passing route.
There's the gun sounding the end of the first quarter, and the scoreboard shows Miami 7, Oakland nothing.
This broadcast is presented by authority of the Oakland Raiders, a limited partnership. It is intended for the private use of our audience, and a rebroadcast without the express written consent of the Oakland Raiders is prohibited. The announcers for this event are employed by KNBR, but serve at the discretion of the Oakland Raiders.
Now the teams have changed ends of the field. The Dolphins are driving from our right to our left. They're coming up on a 3rd down and about 9.5 situation. The ball on the Oakland 32-yard line. Dan Connors has been over to talk to John Madden, and now goes before going back on the field to see Don Shinnick, linebacker coach. Greasy comes back from the meeting with Shula on the opposite side, always a cool customer. Greasy, 60% completion on his passes this year. And he's the heart and nerve center of this Dolphin offense. He's what makes all the components click together. 3rd and 9.5. They're not in field goal range at this point. Now Monty Johnson comes off. The Raiders have 3 rushers and an extra defensive back in. Back to pass goes Gracie, setting up with protection. He throws, batted down by Nehemiah Wilson, cutting in front of Warfield at the 25 as he ran the out counter. Nehemiah, fine play on Warfield, the great veteran. And so Gracie is 1 for 3, and in comes Larry Seifel to punt.
And that time he kept both his backs in. They wanted to go to Warfield, and they needed that maximum protection. They figured the Raiders would be blowing, which they were. Kicking the fullback, staying in the pass block for Creasing. A great play by Nehemiah.
I mentioned that Jake Scott had not been in the last defensive stand for the Dolphins against the Raiders, and I noticed him sitting over on the sideline. Whether he'll be back on this next Raider possession, I don't know. Here's the snap. Seifel kicks one for the left coffin corner, but he didn't get the corner. Lands on the floor and bounds into the end zone. We'll have a touchback, and the Raiders take the football at the 20 with Stabler coming on to run the offense again. Up to this moment, each team has run 13 plays. Miami's 4 first downs, Oakland 3. Miami 49 yards offense, Oakland 46. That's even as they can be. The difference in the game right now, purely and simply, Matt Moore's kickoff return. Now the Raiders with Stabler at quarterback, sending Biletnikoff to the left and Branch is in the slot. Hand off to Hubbard, powers over right guard, and he's still on his feet, and he's up to the 23 with a second effort after Jim Otto. George Beeler cleared a little bit of daylight for him. Bob Moore tried to get a block to help him, and Stansel made the stop after Hubbard kept thrashing and pumping away for about almost 4.
Last year at the end of the first quarter, we had the identical score, Miami 7, Oakland nothing, but Miami, in that game, on their first possession, after receiving the opening kickoff, they marched for the touchdown. Oakland was able to reach their own 48 in the first period. Here they were able to reach their own 49.
Miami had controlled the line of scrimmage better in that ballgame at that point. Here's a handoff to Davis. Sidesteps the tackler and breaks back up the middle of the 28-yard line where Den Herder makes the stop. And Manny Fernandez hit him down low also. They were in the orange defense that time, and Charlie Babb is again in the secondary, replacing Scott at free safety. Now, what Scott's injury is, we've not been informed. Obviously, it must be an injury because Jake Scott is a very integral part of the Miami Dolphin defense. Now set, it's 3rd and 2.5 for the Raiders. Stabler going to pass. He looks. He's got time. And the ball pops out of his hands. He tried to pull it back at the last second from what it appeared. He was looking to Biletnikoff up the right. His arm came through, and the ball stayed in his hands, and he just wound up, kind of grounding it off to his right, as if he just lost control of it, or else he thought better at the last second, tried to pull it back, and wound up doing that.
Oakland trying to confuse Miami a little bit. In the first period, when they had a 3rd and 2, they went to a ground play. This time on 3rd and 2, he went to the air. So it gives Miami something to think about.
Here's Ray Guy, the AFC punting champion, 42.2 per kick over the year, 51 yards the last time he booted. Here's the snap. The kick is away, and he sliced it badly off the right side of the foot. But it's going to... man is bumped. Anderson was bumped by Harold Hart as he was waiting for the punt. There's a flag down, and the Raiders will be penalized. The ball was not kicked as high as Guy wanted. It was somewhat off the side of the foot. At the 40-yard line, Anderson was waiting for it, and Hart came down and crashed into him, interfering with him illegally. It'll be a penalty against Oakland. The Dolphins again will have excellent field position. The report on Jake Scott, he suffered a twisted knee in the first defensive stand of the Dolphins. It's possible he will play some more, but it's in the area of, right now, they don't really know. 15 yards against the Raiders, and those are the penalties you just can't afford. You cannot afford those penalties. Time is out on the field. And with 13:20 to go in the second quarter, the scoreboard shows Miami 7 and Oakland nothing. Oakland defense starting to be asked to carry a pretty good-sized burden here now, with the Dolphins getting these possessions at midfield or even better. Dolphins field position started at their own 48, at their own 20, and at the Oakland 44 this time. Now the backs of the I formation. Warfield comes left and Moore goes right. There's a hand up to Zonka, and he rams ahead. He's hit and dropped by Irons at about the 42. Tried to get the blocking that time from Wayne Moore, the left tackle. Gain about 2.
Pressure on Oakland's defense, Bill. The last possession by Miami, they reached Oakland's 33. A penalty aided Oakland at that point, and they eventually forced them to kick. But now they're at Oakland's 42, and of course, anytime they're across that 50, that pressure starts to mount on the defense.
Monty Johnson is in for Bubba in the orange defense now. Monty lines up at the left end position, outside of Sistrum. Warfield to the left. Moore to the right. Greasy dropping back, setting up the pass. Kept his flat back in, but he hits it up. Great rush for the Raiders behind the 50. Art Tom, Monty Johnson, Sistrunk, and Jones, all four pouring in on him, even though he kept in both backs to block that time. There was a superb charge by the Oakland defense. Johnson got good heat on from the defensive right end, and he's the one that forced Greasy to duck, allowing the others the time to pour in on him. In the first quarter, Miami controlled the ball for 8 minutes and 7 seconds. Oakland for 6 minutes, 53 seconds. That's pretty even. All right, to the left goes Warfield. To the right is Moore. It's 3rd and 17. They've got Mandich in at tight end. They go look for him a lot of times. Back goes Gracie. Sets up deep. He lets them come in on him inside. Step to the left. He's in trouble. He's running. Johnson misses him. Sistrunk chases him out of bounds at the 47-yard line of the Raiders. Monty Johnson took a flying dive when finally Greasy decided the only outlet was to run for his life. Monty missed him behind the 50-yard line, but Sistrunk pursued him out, and it'll be 4th down. And Seipel comes in the front, and the Raider defense has been equal to the pass the last 2 times they've been called on. In the first down, interestingly, Miami ran 6 first-down plays and made 35 yards. That's almost 6 a try. Oakland ran 5 plays and made 12. Seipel punted 25 yards the only other time, but he was punting from, here's the snap, and the boot is away as a good rush was put on, and back as Ron Smith takes it in the 15, up to the 20. Sidestep, he's hit and dropped at the 23-yard line, trying to find a little chink in that first wave. Henry Stuckey came down to nail him. Henry Stuckey came out of Merritt College. And so it'll be 1st and 10 Oakland. The ball on their own 22-yard line. They have not been on the opponent's side of the 50 today. Kenny Stabler at quarterback while time is out on the field right now, and we retain it here. At this moment, we have 11:51, a lot of time remaining to play in the second quarter. I said off mic the last time there was a timeout and we had broken away here before the Dolphins started that possession on Oakland's 44. I said to Scotty, it would seem to me that the Raiders, even if they don't generate a lot of offense, if they can move the ball some, take a little heat off their own defense, and then the defense continue to stand up. If they're only down 7-0 at halftime with the reception of the kickoff in the second half, they're not in bad shape at all. But that's very pivotal to do at least that.
Another factor along that same vein, Bill, which would help Oakland. The Oakland team is a very, very strong team physically. And although they've not done much offensively, they have pounded that Miami defense. Now, if they can, for instance, in this situation, drive the field, maintain that ball for 5 or 6 minutes, and continue to pound Miami, I think in the later stages of this game, middle of the third period, fourth quarter, you're going to see Oakland's physical dominance come to the front.
All right, to the left goes Branch in the slot, inside Biletnikoff. Moore the tight on the right side. Saber on a play fake, back to pass, rolls out to the left, throws back inside to Biletnikoff. He makes the catch at the 35, trying to peel back. He was dropped by Matheson at the 32. Fred was looking for a little running room, made a semicircle, and he had the first down, and by running backward and getting tackled, may have lost it. Let's see. It's going to be very close, Mike. Even yes, it does call for a measurement. One other factor, Scotty, and that is not to denigrate a young man named Charlie Babb in his 3rd year from Memphis State, but he's been thrown the burden of playing Jake Scott's position. If this is a tight ball game somewhere, the Raiders might find that he's not quite as integrated in that defense as Scott is, and might find a little hole.
Well, of course, Scott's a great veteran, Bill, and veteran defensive backs do a lot of things with their head as well as their body, and of course, you can't expect Babb to be at that point. The Raiders short by about 2 inches. Biletnikoff coming back after making a catch, hoping to sprint upfield, did not get the first down on a catch. They're about 2 inches, 3 inches short.
All right, it'll be second down. The Dolphins, with their normal rushing 4 in, Den Herter, Fernandez, Hines, and Stanfield. Biletnikoff wide to the left with Branch in the slot. Hand off to Hubbard. He follows Davis through, and he rams it up to the 36-yard line for a first down for Oakland. Down on the bottom with Stanfield to make the tackle, along with Nick Buonaconti. One aspect that we hadn't considered, at least on the air here, Scotty, and that is, you recall when the Raiders defeated Miami and ended their win string at Berkeley early in the 73 season, they somewhat nullified the great mobility of Buonaconti by running a lot of stuff right at him.
course, Nick's great strength is his quickness. He's really not big enough to handle that straight-on stuff, and that's the only way you can really nullify him. If you try and go around him, he's just too quick.
Now the Dolphins in their 53, rolling to the left is Stabler. Now he sets up. Fires one to Hubbard over the middle at the 40. Hubbard, head down, rams, straight to tackle to the 45. Dropped by Matheson. He knocked Mike Poland head over heels. He really slammed him. Stabler just lobbing a little pass to Hubbard on an early release over the middle.
Now we're seeing something we haven't seen with Kenny Stabler most of this year. He is rolling out of there. He's not going straight back. Now during a good part of this season, Kenny had problems with his knees and did not want to do that. When you saw Lawrence in there, you saw roll plays. Today, Kenny is rolling. He had lots of time that time, that moving pocket. Upshaw standing up in front of him and giving him a good look downfield.
2nd and 1. The regular rushers are back in. They're not in the 53 anymore. Ball came out. Slot left. Hand off to Davis. Davis shivers past the line of scrimmage to the 50 to the 45. Still on his feet at the 40. Knocked down from behind at the 37-yard line by Curtis Johnson. First and 10 Oakland. Their first penetration of the day into Miami real estate. Larry Ball comes in. The Dolphins go to the 53 as Hines comes out. Hubbard was out in front to lead the blocking that time to let Davis slide by the line of scrimmage and get out there where he can fly. Anderson missed him before he was brought down by Curtis Johnson. And the sun is finally actually melting off some of the overhead fog. Here's Otto to the ball. Branch to the left. Boletnicott to the right. Miami leads at 7-0. 9:15 remaining. We're in quarter number 2. The handoff here goes to Davis. Following Hubbard through, but not getting much. Off the right side at the 35. Matheson on top with Fernandez down below, along with Ben Herder, stopped the play. Jim Otto really couldn't wedge too much that time. They got about 1.5 yards. Hubbard has carried 8 times for 23 yards as he gets his first rest. Davis 5 times for 31 yards. Banaszak is in. 2nd and 8. It's a long 8, however. Bill King with Scotty Sterling. It's Tingley time at the Coliseum in Oakland. Everybody on edge. Miami leading 7-0. Slot left. Branch inside Boletnicott. They keep a linebacker out there to try to contain him a little bit. Handoff goes to Banaszak. Slants outside left tackle brought down by Stansel along with Ball, who lined up on that side in the Orange defense at the 31-yard line. The tackle made. Now it'll be a big 3rd down play. For what it's worth on 3rd down situations today, Oakland 2 for 4. Miami 1 for 4. Stabler thus far has passed 4 successfully for 4 out of 8, and with 1 intercepted. Greasy is only 1 out of 3. Now Clarence Davis comes out, and Charlie Smith is in for the Raiders. The veteran probably brought a play in. It's 3rd and 5.5. On a quick count, Stabler drops straight back, sets up, pumps, lobs one down the middle for Smith. Touchdown Raiders! Apart at the scenes as Charlie Smith catches one from 32 yards down the middle. The identical pattern and play that Smith ran, and Stabler hit him on against the Dallas Cowboys. 7-6. Landon tries to equalize it. Spot, kick, it's up, it's good, it's a new game. Time out on the field, 7:39 to go. 2nd quarter, scoreboard showing Miami 7, Oakland 7. Yakovenko will kick off from the Raiders 35, moving from our left to our right. Moore is back, and here's the kickoff. And it's kicked away from Moore. It's taken up the left side at the 15, back to the 20, 25 by Malone, the 30, 35 by Hubert Ginn, rather. And he's knocked off his feet almost at the 39-yard line. Where are they going to mark it? 37, they say. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Miami. A fairly nice return on a not particularly long kick by Yakovenko. Now the Raider crowd takes up the chant of defense, defense. Particularly all those people down there in Art's Army for Art Tom. Raiders now have a play domination of 23-16, yardage domination of 129 to 46, a first down domination of 6-4. Slot left. Man in motion coming back to the right is Nat Moore. Following him across is Thomas. Hand off the Malone, explodes up the middle, still on his feet at the 45, and he's stopped at the 47. A double-team effort by the safeties, Atkinson and Tatum. Malone, who can fly once he gets by that line of scrimmage, gets up holding his right thigh a little bit, limping, but as he comes back to the huddle, Chick now comes into the ball game. The Dolphin bench spotted that. That's a first down, and Malone really chewed it up that time for 11 yards. Dolphins break their huddle. Moore, Kuchenberg, Langer, Little, and Evans left to right in the interior line. Here's Warfield to the left against Wilson. To the right, Moore against Skip Thomas. Back to the eye, give to Zonka. Gets the block, drives across the 50. Bubba can't hold him all alone. He needs help from Connors down at the 46-yard line of Oakland. Norm Evans firing out at right tackle, giving Zonka a little running room that time, and they get him rumbling again. Zonka at this moment has made 28 yards on 8 carries. Malone 24 on 5 trips. Greasy has thrown 3 times, completed 1 for 16. Kenny Stabler standing on the sideline, hoping the defense can contain here after he got the Raiders on the board. Now they line up more as a tight end with only Warfield wide to the left. Shift the backs into a split. 2nd down and 4. The handoff to Kick, and he finds his way down to the 44-yard line over the right side. Kind of stuttering and trying to find the hole. Kuchenberg pulling the lead. Now Mandich coming in. They'll be 3rd in short yardage, so they go to double tight ends, taking Moore out of there. And Benny Malone comes back in the backfield, replacing Chick.
Now, the Dolphins in the past, Bill, have been known to gamble in this situation. 3rd and short, bring 2 tight ends in and go to that old familiar play fake. It started here in Oakland and went to Green Bay, and it's caught many a team in playoff games. They've done it on this field position.
It caught the Raiders in the Super Bowl in '67 to Max McGee from Star. All set now. Greasy turns. He gives to Zonka. He's got the first down. He's still on his feet, and he drives to the 35-yard line, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. Filipiano and Skip Thomas had a piece of him, couldn't bring him down until they got more help. And we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Oakland Raiders Football Network. Now to the left is Warfield. To the right is Moore. And again to Zonka. And Zonka slams over the left guard. He really didn't have any daylight. He ran over irons and kept shoving and just crashing in until he was slowed down and brought to a halt. Down low, the guy who had the biggest part of him was Sistrom. He was stopped at about the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 7.
10 more yards, and the Dolphins will be in pretty good field goal range. There's 4:09 left to go in this first half.
4:05 to go now as the clock ticks down to the 4-minute mark. Slot left. 2nd down, 7 for Miami. Raiders would like to get a takeaway here. Moore in motion out to the right. Thomas follows him across. Greasy gives here to Malone, and Malone slices. Doesn't get much. Brought down at the 30-yard line by Monty Johnson, who was in the orange defense that time. Now they'll come up 3rd and 5. And they bring Mandich into the ball game for Fleming. They'll run with 1 tight end, the 2 wide receivers. And with Chick coming in the backfield, Chick offers 2 possibilities. Very good blocker with Zonka for protection for Greasy, but also they throw to him.
Last time they kept him in as a blocker on the right side of Greasy. We'll see what they do this time. Very good receiver.
Raiders orange defense. Monty Johnson lines up on the defensive left side. Warfield to the left against Wilson. To the right, Moore against Skip Thomas. Split backs. They don't keep him in. They send him out. He fires over the middle. He's got Chick. He's got the first down on the 24. Connors had him covered, but Chick made the catch. Connors dropped him in his tracks. Just slanting out from the backfield, turning and waiting for the quick, Greasy release. So the Dolphins come up with the right play, and now they're getting within field goal range. Euphemian this year has not had the kind of a year he did last year. Of course, none of the field goal kickers have had as many opportunities. Garrow is 9 for 15. He's hit only once beyond 40 yards in 5 tries, and that was at 43, his long for the year. If they were to field goal kick from this position, it would be a little longer than that. Warfield to the left, Moore to the right. Back goes Tracy, setting up, got time. He's going deep to Moore, man falls, but he is underthrown. Skip Thomas fell on the side when Moore made his cut to the corner at the goal line, but the ball was underthrown or he'd have had an easy fix.
And Bill, you have to credit pass rush because of that. Greasy was under big pressure. He really couldn't see Moore. He didn't have good balance when he threw. He was in a backing up position because of that rush. And with Skip Thomas going down, if he had time, that would have been 7.
Don Shula for a moment there on the sideline, considering the meaning of that. If they were to kick right now a field goal, it would be, we were saying, about 47 yards. Mandich is in, so they've got 3 men they can go to. two wide receivers and the tight end. Malone in the backfield with Zonka. Warfield comes left. Out to the right is Moore. With Skip Thomas playing him head up. And coming across the line of scrimmage was Toms. The handoff to Zonka. He stops at the line of scrimmage, gets up and tries to run some more. He was stopped at the 25, however. I don't know why. He thought he wasn't touched. Horace Jones' fifth stroke had hit him and dropped him. He must have thought he ran into his own man and hadn't been touched by a silver and black-clad football player. Coming to the 2-minute warning now. It'll be 3rd and 10 for the Dolphins on the Raider 25. And there's the timeout signal. 2-minute warning going to both benches with 2 minutes remaining. Second quarter. Scoreboard showing Miami 7, Oakland 7.
This is a down, Bill, that Oakland has to hold. It's 3rd and 10 at the Raider 25. If they hold on this down, it'll mean about a 42-yard field goal by Euphemian. And as you pointed out, he hasn't been all that accurate when he gets into that range this year.
Yeah, I think I may have said 47 a few moments ago. That was an error. I'm sorry, it's 42. You're right. They would spot it at about the 32-yard line. Now the Dolphins bring Nottingham in. The Raiders bring Monty Johnson out. Oakland still has only 3 rushes. They go to Jimmy Warren, a 5th defensive back. Nottingham came in for Zonka. He's in the backfield with kicks. Warfield to the left. Moore to the right. The tight end is Mandich. It is 3rd and 10. Long count by Greasy. Now he takes the snap. Drops back into the pocket. Setting up. Lots of time. Nobody open. Guy's going to run. Now he hesitates. Now he comes back to the right. He's still running. He finally unloads it behind the line of scrimmage to Nottingham. He's at the 25, at the 20. He drives down to the 16-yard line. Short of the first down. Skip Thomas and Connors got him. Reese extricated himself from a difficult situation. Looking left, looking right. The Raiders had everything covered, but Nottingham came back to the area where Greasy had retreated to the right, made the catch, had found some running room, and now Euphemian is in for the possible three-pointer, and he's surely got a better shot at it than he would if they'd have been able to sack Greasy. It'll be marked and spotted at the 24-yard line. We're down to 1:13 to go in this first quarter. Moore will hold, so it'll be a 34-yard attempt by the little left-footed Cypriot. Snap, spot, the kick on the way. It is good. And so from 34 yards, Garo Euphemian unties this football game. The Raiders, from the standpoint of scrimmage play, have brought the Dolphins virtually to a standstill. They have kept them out of the end zone. The big factor, of course, in Miami's getting on the board early was the earliest possible when Nat Moore ran the kickoff back 89 yards to start the game. So we have 1 minute and 1 second left to go in the second quarter. Euphemian will kick off. The Raiders will have Hart back along with Ron Smith. Up on the wedge, you have Banaszak, Casper, Van Egan, and Bankston. Now the Dolphins have a slight play edge, 26 to the Raiders' 23. They have 7 first downs to Oakland 6. The Raiders still have a yardage advantage in the game, totally of 129 to 94. Euphemian advances on the ball, kicks it high but not real deep. Waiting for it, Hart on the 11 along with Smith. Hart takes it to the 20, the 25, explodes straight ahead to the 30. Stuckey and Babb knock him down, and it'll be perhaps the 31 when they allow it. The Raiders now, in their 2-minute offense, of which only 57 seconds is left, take over. Their field positions today have not been very advantageous for their various offensive takeovers, respectively, their own 31, their own 13, their own 20, their own 22, and again, their own 31. Miami's possessions began on the Miami 48, the Miami 20, the Oakland 44, and the Miami 37. So Miami has had a field position advantage most of the day. Branch wide to the left. They bring the linebacker Ball out there in the orange defense to help cover him. Hand off to Hubbard now. Hubbard cruises off right tackle, slowed by Matheson. He breaks out of his grasp and gets up to the 37 before it's finally Dan Herder to pin him. Along with Manny Fernandez, the clock running, 45 seconds. Raiders have all timeouts left. Stabler uses one right now. Against a team like Miami right now, they're in a real pretty tough situation. Not quite enough time to wedge that thing down to get a real good shot at a field goal. But still, there is time if you make the right play. But it has to come off much more quickly and with fewer areas for error.
Bill, I noticed that John Vella, Oakland's right tackle, seems to be limping just a little bit as he got up from that play. Now, Vella, a couple of weeks ago, had an ankle problem. which he's recovered from fairly well, but he was limping just a little bit. He stayed in the game, so apparently it's okay. You make a good point. The 2-minute drill against a team like Miami becomes a very, very difficult thing. They're disciplined in the secondary, which means they stayed in the places where they're supposed to stay. They sometimes fight their instincts to go to a different area, and they remain very tight in their coverage. So I don't think you'll see Oakland be able to move the ball quite as well as they did, for instance, in that game against Cincinnati.
Now the Raiders back to the huddle. The line of scrimmage is the Oakland 38. The Dolphins continue on their orange defense with 3 rushers, and they bring the extra linebacker ball out on Branch's side each time. Here's Smith in motion to the right, leading Hubbard behind Stabler. Stabler back to pass. Got time. Drills one down the middle. Brady's got it. Politnik off the 50. And he's knocked out at the 46. Hit there by Mike Colin and Nick Bonacani. Timeout called, 32 seconds. Now the Raiders have only one more timeout left. Let's look at Blanda for the year. Blanda, from the field goal standpoint, was 11 for 17 in the regular season. His longest was 49. George hit 2 out of 5 beyond the 40 range. He hit 1 from 41, 1 from 49. So if he were to have to go long, his percentage on the season was a little bit better than that of Yepremian in the long ranges.
Kenny's problem now is one timeout remaining is to attempt to get some yardage without using that timeout, and that obviously means something over to the sidelines where the receiver might go out of bounds.
But the thing is, too, Miami defense knows that as well as you and I, Scotty, and they play that pretty tough. In fact, you'll recall in the great Cincinnati comeback, Stabler had a little more time on his side, and the sidelines were so well covered by the Cincinnati defense that he came down the middle to Moore on 2 big catches, risking the clock running in order to get bigger chunks of yardage where a man was in a rather open area.
He could go down the middle now if Oakland makes the decision to go for the field goal. If he sees something open down the middle deep enough, they might could go that way and then use that one timeout before the kick.
32 seconds left, 10-7 Miami. We're in the late second quarter. Now it's a slap to the left, Branch inside Biletnikoff. Back goes Stabler to pass. He looks, comes back to the right with a pass that's complete, and he gets out of bounds. Moore gets out on the 37 in front of Matheson. Moore ran a short pattern after they had Hubbard deep, they had Charlie Smith deep, they had Biletnikoff deep. Now with 25 seconds left to go, after the ex-Stanford Stars grab, the Raiders on the 37. That means that would be a 55-yard field goal attempt. That's not a good percentage, needless to say. So they need more yardage here, and the time, 25 seconds. Banaszak comes into the backfield, replacing Hubbard.
Excuse me, Bill. The key now would be to get one more 9, 8, even a 7-yard pickup out of bounds. You still would have one timeout and about 20 seconds left on the clock. They're in good shape right now. They can get one more completion and go out of bounds.
Branch to the left, Biletnikoff to the right, Stabler back, sets up, big rush this time, he's troubled and he's dropped at the 44-yard line. Everybody was covered, and Denny had not enough time to have a real second look as Den Herder and Stanfield converged on him. And now that really is a tough one. The clock is stopped with the next timeout call, and the last one left at 21 seconds. And that shoves them back to the 44. Larry Ball is in again on the orange defense as they set now to defend against the Raiders. 3 rushers. They didn't take the timeout. The clock now running back is Stabler to pass. Lays it off to the right to Smith at the 45. Heads for the sideline. Butts out at the 41. I had thought they'd taken a timeout. I looked up and the clock was stopped, and the officials stopped the clock while everybody was getting back. Foley and Matheson ran the receiver out that time. The Raiders pretty much stymied here now at the 40. They put it on the 40. And what do we got? Ray Guy's coming in to punt. It's 4th down. The ball on the 40. 10-7, Miami leading. 6 seconds remaining, second quarter. In Detroit, in the exhibition season, this very same situation, the up back, Mark Van Eegen took a direct snap from center and went 63 yards to a touchdown. Van Eegen is the up blocking back again. Dave Dalby over the ball, just in case that should be deceptive. Dolphins didn't drop anybody back. Guy takes a snap and he kicks it. He aims one for the right coffin corner, but it drifts farther in from the sideline, goes into the end zone, and with no time left, the ball is just down by the Raiders. Harold Hart as the gun sounds, ending the first half of play, and the scoreboard shows at halftime in the AFC first-round playoff battle, Miami 10, Oakland 7. Harold Hart on the return of Gary Yepremian's kickoff. The Raiders moving from our left to our right, receiving to start the second half, trailing 10-7. They have not led. Henry Stuckey made the stop that time. And so it'll be 1st and 10 Oakland.
So the Miami Dolphins, during the 14-game regular season, gave up progressively more points as the game wore on. In the first period, they gave up 31. This is total for the year. Then 50 in the second period, 57 in the third, and 78 in the fourth quarter of their games.
They marked this ball at approximately the Oakland 28 as Branch slots right inside Biletnikoff. Play fake. Stabler on a broken play, I think, falls down at the 26. He went back as if to hand to Hubbard, who just went right by him. Kenny kept the ball and tried to get back to the line of scrimmage, but lost 2 yards. Not an auspicious way to begin the second half of play. Raider receivers, Biletnikoff caught 3, Charlie Smith 2, Hubbard and Moore 1 each, and Branch 1. Their big completion was to Smith, and that was in the books as 31. I said 32 yards at the time of the play, and it was between the 31 and 32-yard line. They credited 31 yards. Miami, the orange defense, ball is in, lines up on the left side. Stabler gets to Davis, sends him to the left, now trying to sweep behind Upshaw, cuts behind the block, shooting past the 30, he's up to the 35, and is still on his feet when the play is blown dead with a host of Dolphins tugging and grabbing at him. Davis, with a good move, made a full spin that time as he cut up behind the Upshaw block. Bob Moore was out on that side also. Don Shula, who's been through the mill so many times, looking on from the Dolphins sideline. These Miami teams 8-2 in playoffs. And of course, they won 3 in a row in each of the last 2 years to win the 2 Super Bowl titles back-to-back. Stabler coming up to an important 3rd and 4. He's back to pass. Good blocking. He rifles one. The Branch can't hold. It's broken up by Poland, who came up in the zone over the middle at the 40-yard line and jolted Cliff just as he tried to get a handle on the ball. Good defense. Dolphins come up with that big play, and Guy comes in to punt. In the first half, Guy punted 3 times for an average of 41. Seipel of the Dolphins 3 times, 31.7 the average. Dropping back deep now will be Nat Moore, a rookie from Florida, on the 20-yard line. He's returned 9 punts this year for an average of 15 per kick. Now Babb and Anderson will be the short backs at the 40. Guys kicking the line of scrimmage is at the Oakland 35. Dave Dalby snaps it. Guy gets into the punt and drills one rather well, but not too high. Taken by Moore in the 21. Starts to the right after a hesitation. He's missed by Hudson, who may have been clipped. He comes back and is dropped at the 21. No flag went down. Harold Hart got him after Hudson. It looked like Hudson might have gotten clipped by Benny Malone on that play, but they didn't call it. And the effort by Hudson, which sent Moore to the right, drove him into the arms of Hart. 44-yard punt by Guy. All right, the Dolphins. This was second deepest in their own territory that they've taken over the football. Moore to the left with Warfield in the slot with Zonka and Benny Malone the back. Hand off to Zonka. Gets a block from Malone. Comes back to the inside, and he's stopped by Irons. He got to about the 24, though. Zonka wanted to go outside the tackle. Monty Johnson, who's in on the orange defense, prevented that. And Zonka, in trying to adjust, was brought down by Irons inside. So it'll be 2nd down and 7 as Zonka still got 3. Here's Langer to the ball at center. Raiders keep Art Toms over the center. He's been that way most of the day. Monty Johnson lines up on the left side. Now the Dolphins have Warfield only a couple of yards out to the left. They give to Zonka, and he smashes over the right side. He's thrown back from the 27, where his forward progress was. Monty Johnson, the obvious man, but he had a lot of help down below from Toms and Sistrom. They really jammed him pretty well. It'll be 3rd down and about 4.5 as Mandich, the tight end, comes in for Marv Fleming. Fleming, incidentally, wears a diamond in his left ear. I didn't get that clarified, Scotty, whether he wears it in the game or not. I doubt it.
I don't know. I'll tell you what he's wearing in the other ear, though, is a little bit of Jack Tatum's words, because on 2 plays ago, Tatum went after Fleming, and he was sticking that finger right in his face and letting him know the next time, whatever it was he did, that Jack would retaliate.
Warfield to the left, Moore to the right. A big 3rd down, 4 play for the Dolphins now. Back he goes. Goes back in the block. Greasy fires down the middle. Got it down. A great play by Connors. He was going for Mandich at the 40. His clutch receiver in these situations. George Atkinson was with him, but it was Connors who made the beautiful diving deflection of the pass. They really wanted that when they kept those backs in to let Greasy get a good look at Mandich. So it'll be Seipel in the punt. Now, he's not a long punter. He's a good high hanger. Average is only 38+ on the year. The deep man, Ron Smith. The short men are Hudson and Hart at the 50. The line of scrimmage, Miami's 28. And the boot It's high, not very deep, hanging, good coverage. Smith takes it on the 38, and he can't get going. It's at the 40-yard line. 3 of the Dolphins were down there. The first one there was Lloyd Mumford, followed by Ed Newman, and then Langer himself, the center. Good coverage. Mumford is the captain, of course, of the Dolphins special team. The Raiders take over at their 40. Timeout on the field. 11:43 left in the third quarter, and the scoreboard showing Miami 10, Oakland 7. Now the sun beaming brightly on about half of the field, which is still not shaded by the western rim of the Coliseum, the Raiders have their best takeover field position of the day on their own 40. Bolitnikoff to the left with Branch slotted out there. Stabler play fakes, back to pass with time to throw. He fires one that Fred's got at the 45, down to the 40. He's hit, and he dropped at that point. I thought he fumbled for a moment, but he held on. Knocked down by Mike Colin, the linebacker, with Curtis Johnson. Bolitnikoff was all alone under that zone in that area. As they were playing deep for Branch, Fred cut his pattern off short to leave him plenty of receiving room.
And, Bill, we had talked here at times, Kenny during the season might be a little lazy on those throws, but not in this game and not on that one. He really pegged that. I've never seen him throw that ball with more velocity than he did that time.
Larry Ball comes in. Miami goes to the orange with 3 rushers. Ball lines up on the left side. Mathis and the other linebacker on the outside goes to the right. Speaking defensively, Stabler in a straight drop back. Gets the blocking up in the pocket, going deep to Bolitnikoff down the right side with Foley. Foley backs it into the air. Bolitnikoff makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. Holy Toledo, what a play. Foley and Bolitnikoff between the 5 and the goal line went up. Foley got a piece of the ball. It caromed into the end zone. Bolitnikoff followed it and caught it, but was ruled to have been out of bounds on the play. Madden is berating the official. Bolitnikoff, perhaps 6 inches of the front part of his left foot out of bounds. We looked at that on the replay. It was an excellent call. It was one which, if you didn't have the replay advantage, you'd probably beef about. Fred is out. Frank Pitts, the veteran, is in. Wide to the left. Branch in the slot, 2nd and 10. Here's Davis now. Scooters for the hole. Gets to the 38 over the left side. Upended by Fernandez. And Mike Colin put the ball on the 37. What a play that would have been had Fred been able to keep that left foot 6 inches further in, but it was impossible. Larry Ball comes out, and they bring in an extra defensive back this time with Stuckey. Henry Stuckey is back in the game. 5 defensive backs. Banaszak is in for Hubbard for the Raiders. Branch to the left, Bolitnikoff to the right. We're 3rd and 7. Big play. Davis in motion to the right with his shoulder pad hanging out. Back is Stabler. Looks. He throws underneath to Moore. Moore to 35. Tripped up. Dimes. Did he get the first down? I don't know. He was stopped by Stuckey. He was scrambling on his elbows, trying for that yardage. Wanakani is over there. Madden is right over the ball, which is near western sideline. He's making sure nobody fudges an inch on it. Wanakani was there with Stuckey to make the stop. They're going to bring the chain gang in from the opposite side of the field. There's a very pivotal measurement. 10-7 Miami. A lot of time left in this football game. 9:56 to go in the third quarter. Can't see the measurement at all. Here's the first down. Bob Moore with a scrambling, clawing effort after making that catch in the short pattern to the right sideline. Marvin Hubbard getting some attention on the side from Dr. Rosenfeld, or at least standing with him. Dr. Reedy is there, too. They're working, looks like on Marv's left wrist down underneath. Down below is here by the Raider bench. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. The Raiders scored from 31 yards on a perfectly played pass by Stabler to Charlie Smith in the second quarter. Play fake. Stabler back. Got time. Hesitates. Looks. Good coverage. An incomplete pass intended for Bolitnikoff, who was picked up in the middle at the 20 by Colin. And Stabler missed on the play, as Colin did a good job that time. Boy, these Dolphins can cover you. They can really cover you. Kenny had great blocking that time, but couldn't find the open man because there wasn't such animal out there.
I'll tell you, he's putting a lot of heat on the Dolphins, Bill, and they are very, very good back there, but he's passing on first down. This drive started at the Raider 40. He went to Bolitnikoff on first down, 4:20. The next time it came up first down, he passed. That time on first down, he passed. So he's got these Dolphins thinking pass.
Dolphins in the orange, slot right. Smith with Banaszak in the backfield. Banaszak blazes off right tackle, dives down to the 20-yard line. He's hit there by Ball. Banaszak on a fast start. And Scotty, you and I were talking about that early. George Feeler led very well that time. Hubbard has not seemed to start rather quickly today, and Banaszak's always been a quick starter off the ball, and that may be the difference here.
And, of course, on that play, it was exactly that. Pete's quick start. Marv, although very strong runner today, not really that quick off the ball as he usually is. Now, maybe he's got a little bit of a leg problem we aren't aware of, but he was not really quick off the ball.
They bring the 4 rushers in. Hines replaces Ball. The Raiders come up about a half yard short of the first down there. And now it's Davis and Banaszak in the backfield, 2 quick starters. It's third and short. Hand off to Davis. Follows Banaszak through. He's down to the 15. Upended at the 12-yard line. Hit by Babb in the backfield. And Anderson and the Raiders now moving the football and moving the Dolphins, more importantly. The ball on the 18 where it's marked. First and 10 Oakland. Clarence Davis has ripped for 52 yards and 8 carries. At halftime, Clarence had 32 in 5 carries, so he's fielded up 20 yards and 3 tries in this third quarter. Stuckey is in. They have 5 defensive backs. Branch to the left, Biletnikoff to the right. Stabler back on a straight drop back, looking to the end zone, but he throws underneath, and Moore can't hold it at the 10-yard line. Moore slanting out underneath at the 10. Might have led him a little bit too far, but it's one that Bob normally would have had. So it'll be second and 10. That would have been a nice big catch for the Raiders, because he would have had perhaps to the 5-yard line before anybody could really nail it.
Oakland several times during the year in this field position, down inside the opponent's 15, have had a very, very effective tight end passing game. That play, Moore was wide open. The throw a little bit off, and Bobby should have probably had that.
The ball on the 13, second and 10. Stabler back, looks left, throws right. Biletnikoff, a leaping catch. Touchdown, Oakland! Holy Toledo! Frank Biletnikoff just made a miracle catch with Tim Foley all over him. Did a good job of looking off the defense, but the ball, which was actually deflected once off Biletnikoff's hand when Foley contested it, and the right sideline in the end zone was grabbed back by Fred as Foley kept his pressure on, landed on top of him. And now Blanda, the conversion try is up. It is good, and for the first time, the Oakland Raiders lead the Miami Dolphins. I'm out on the field. 8:05 left. We're in the third quarter. Scoreboard shows Oakland 14, Miami 10. Matt Moore and Hubert Ginn are back to await the Jakovenko kickoff as George will kick off from our left to our right. The Raiders have taken the lead on that 13-yard strike from Stabler to Biletnikoff as Fred is giving a clinic out here today. And here is the boot. It's a line drive that's kicked sideways, taken by Ginn at the 10, up to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, straight ahead, and by Moore to the 35. I'm sorry, I said Ginn. It was Matt Moore. Moore carried out to the 35 before he was finally overhauled by Monty Johnson. And it's a good return to get the Dolphins decent operating position field-wise. By the way, Fred Biletnikoff has caught 5 of Stabler's 11 completions for 73 yards today. Kenny 11 for 19. Gracie is 3 for 6 as he brings the Dolphins up to the line of scrimmage. Warfield to the left. Matt Moore to the right. Zonka in the backfield of Malone. Hand off to Malone. Skirting line to the right. Gets a block from Little at the 35, rather, and he goes out of bounds at the 43. Good sweep that time. Larry Little pulling is... He's one of the excellent pulling guys in football and leading Malone around the right side. Benny Malone, coming out of Arizona State, a rookie, 5'10", 193. He took over when Mercury Morris continued to have problems with injuries. He's the brother of Art Malone.
The Dolphins, who up to this point have confined their running game pretty much inside the tackles, hoping now to spread Oakland's defense a little bit, perhaps weaken up that middle and get Zonka in there for some key ground as they went with Malone to the outside on a sweep.
They're 2nd and 1 right now, and they keep Warfield in tight and put Moore only about a yard out to the right. Now they bring Malone out to the left, leaving Zonka alone in the backfield. And a play fake. Breezy now pulling one out of the bag. He's in trouble. Chased by Horace Jones. Runs to the right. He's hemmed in by Monty Johnson, who misses it. He's up the right side of the 40 and goes out of bounds with a first down in Oakland territory at the Raider 48-yard line. And Breezy's elusiveness again proved a nemesis for the Raiders. He made a great play last year in a situation in which he seemed to be trapped. Ultimately, his escape in that situation led to a big touchdown for the Dolphins.
Now, Monty Johnson, who is not a greatly experienced player, this is his first year with a lot of playing time, committed himself that time, and I'm sure the Raider staff would rather have had him just contain Greasy and not commit himself. Greasy put that move on him after Monty Moore had made a strong move to him, and that was probably the error.
The Raiders were not fooled, however, by the deception of passing on second and short, which often can be a great quarterback coup. Now they're in Raider territory, first down, backs in the I formation. Greasy gives to Zonka. He rambles off right guard and carries tacklers down to the 40. Zonka again behind Larry Little that time with Norm Evans assisting, opening the hole. It was finally Sistrunk, the last of the Raiders to join the pack to bring him down. So the Dolphins trailing for the first time 14-10, responding smartly. Zonka is out. Nottingham is in. Dolphins break their huddle, come up to the ball just outside the 40. Greasy, the cool customer of 8 NFL seasons, sends Warfield left against Wilson. Moore to the right against Thomas. Tom to the odd defense, and the handoff to Benny Malone, who drives for the first down, but he was in motion. I think there's no doubt about it. That's right. The flag fell. Benny Malone, a rookie, a little bit over-anxious. Scotty, the pressure of playoff football is something even players who haven't been here but have played time can't realize. Malone, a rookie, got a couple of 100-yard games this year. He's filled in admirably for Morris, but there was the anxiety.
That's right. Players just don't understand the kind of pressure that comes in a playoff. Even if you've been in the league 7, 8, 9, 10 years, if you've not been here, when you do get here, you can feel the pressure. And obviously, this is one of the great strengths of the Miami team by and large. They've been in so many big games. They're very cool. As you pointed out, Greasy, he's down now by 4 points, but he's in command. He knows exactly what he's doing.
2nd and 7. Incidentally, Miami's ratio of rushes to passes, 80% rushes, 20 passes today. On the season, they were 2-to-1. 2 rushes to every pass, 67% to 33%. Now they split the tight end, and back to pass goes Gracie. He looks, he's going deep to man, to Moore, way down the left side. It goes through his hands at the 5-yard line. Moore got behind Skip Thomas. Or he can fly. And Skip Thomas lost a little bit to him at the 5. Moore had the daylight. The ball went through his hands as Greasy put it as much on the money as any man could ever hope to do. He had 3 men out wide at the outset of that play, and a little bit different set than he showed.
Of course, what they like to do normally with Warfield is get you in that one-on-one situation. Moore, who's had a tremendous year for the Dolphins, coming in as a rookie, and they had people injured. He's doing a great job, but Greasy is very, very good at forcing you into that kind of a defense. Oakland now making a change. Johnson coming out, and Jimmy Warren going in as a 5th defensive back.
3 rushers, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. It's 3rd and 7. Big play again. Inlanger over the ball. They bring Moore wide to the left with Warfield in the slot. The backs are Kick and Nottingham. Backpedaling is Gracie into the pocket. He looks, he's got time. He's going deep up the right side. Villapiano covering and called for pass interference. The ball was thrown 5 yards away from the receiver. Kick. Villapiano had him covered all the way up the right sideline. The flag fell for pass interference at the 15. Villapiano protesting his cause to no avail. I'd like to see the replay on that. I'm not saying I doubt it. It's purely that it was on the far side of the field from us, and difficult to really see how the contact came. Those watching on television see Villapiano following and covering. He did push with the right hand. It was a token push, but I think technically it was proper call. It's the kind of a play, Scotty, that if it's not called, a lot of people aren't surprised.
Yeah, obviously, Bill, you get, as you say, and described very well, it was a token push. Now, you get a lot of pushing like that on almost any play when people are running those up.
Raiders have been penalized 59 yards to Miami's 15, and there could be the pivotal play of the game. That penalty puts the Dolphins on the Oakland 16. The fans boo. The Dolphins walk away from the huddle. Greasy going to make sure he's going to be heard. Dan Connors over talking to the referee. I'm not sure. The Dolphins brought Tom Wickard off the field. Wickard is a special teams man and a backup offensive tackle. He's walking over here to this side and coming to go into the locker room for some reason. And apparently there was a protest, but he went off the field the wrong way.
That's right. I think Dan Connors looking for some kind of an edge, a penalty against the Dolphins. Saw the guy walking off and went up to the official and said he came off the wrong side. I don't think he did.
I think he went around the field, and Dan saw him coming off the side. Now the fans set up the chorus, and the Raider defense really on the spot now. Greasy operating on the Oakland 16, trailing by 4. Greasy back into the pocket, backpedaling. Here comes the rush. He rifles it. A man falls all alone. Warfield makes the catch for a touchdown for Miami. Falling was Niemeyer Wilson as Warfield made his corner pattern move into the deep left corner of the end zone. All Greasy had to do is keep from falling down or having a heart attack. He could have thrown the ball into the air anywhere in an area of 8 or 10 yards, and Warfield could have run under it, and Greasy lobbed it up to make sure that he gave him room. And so, Paul Warfield, the man who so often gets free to break the heart of opponents, did so this time when Wilson slipped on the cut. And now the Dolphins lead it 16-14. The Premium trying to make it a 3-point lead. Snap, the spot. The kick is blocked. Bob Hudson, I believe, blocked it from the right wing. The kick is blocked. We'll check on the identity for sure. It looks like Hudson. Time is out on the field. 6:38 to go, third quarter. Scoreboard shows Miami 16, Oakland 14. The Premium will kick off now. The official credit has gone to Bubba Smith, who had the push on up the middle on that conversion. Hudson crossed right in front of Bubba, and as we had the binoculars on, it appeared it was Hudson. But that's a mistake that's easily made up here. I've done it before when Bubba got one, and I thought it was the wingman who got it. Here's the kickoff now by Ukrainian. Ron Smith waiting stationary. Takes it on the 5. Shot to the 15. He's at the 20. Shoots to the left. Breaks through a hole, and then it stops at the 32. There was daylight beckoning for Ron Smith until he was suddenly cut down by Lloyd Mumford. Shula looks a little concerned that there was that much hole there. And Mumford saved the bacon. So the Raiders have good field position. Not great, but good. At the 32-yard line, their territory. The margin of difference now is 2 points. Where if it comes down to that sort of an increment, the Raiders might be able to win with a field goal. Stabler back to pass. Setting up all the time in the world. He fires one. It's broken up. Branch was hammered hard by Buoniconti at the 47. The fans hollering for the interference call, but Buoniconti, though he hit him hard, hit him legally, the officials said.
Stabler getting sensational pass protection.
I'm sorry, Scotty. Go ahead.
I said Stabler's been getting super pass protection. He had all the time in the world. I'll tell you what, if there was a penalty on this replay, it should have gone against Branch, to be quite honest with you.
First had to come back, and in order to come back to the ball, he had to try to get around Buoniconti, and he initiated the contact. Now to the left, Maletnikov with Branch in the slot. We're 2nd and 10. Stabler throwing up time on first down. He gets to Davis. Davis runs into trouble off the left side and is buried. He made almost nothing. Stanfill and Fernandez really cracking through with the Dolphins now, taking the lead, also find their defense. Containing the Raiders. Stabler had the Dolphin defenders really off balance in the last drive. Hubbard comes out now. Banaszak is in for Marv. Otto over the ball. Charlie Smith is in for Clarence Davis. Stabler going to pass. He's back. He's looking. He's in trouble. He's dropped by Larry Ball. Back on the 22-yard line. Stabler suffers a sacking, and the Raiders run into all sorts of trouble with a Dolphin defense that is suddenly stabilized. Miami leading 16-14 as Guy comes in with a punting team.
The early part of this second half, Oakland took the momentum. They drove for that touchdown, but the Dolphins came back with a run, aided tremendously by that pass interference call against Filipiano. And when they went to the lead, now their defense knows they have to protect it. So they got to lift from that score. Now it's up to Oakland to try and get that momentum back.
Dolphins drop Matt Moore deep on his own 30. And here's a kick, and a slice by Ray Guy, and it's coming up to midfield. It hits, bounds down the right sideline. A great big break for the Raiders, and goes out of bounds on the 41. Anderson couldn't field it. Guy really hit the ball poorly. Last time he sliced one not so badly, but this time it came off the side of the foot. And he got the break on the roll, however. So it'll be 1st and 10, but again the Dolphins with good operating position on their own 41. Only about a 36-yard punt for Guy. The Raiders trailing here 16-14 after taking the lead in the early third quarter. Doc is in the backfield with Malone as Warfield splits left, and to the right is the flanker, Nat Moore. Raiders Filipiano faking a blitz up the line of scrimmage. The handoff now goes to Moore, slanting across. He's cartwheeled down at the 46-yard line by by Malone, if I said Moore. Excuse me. I knew it wasn't Moore. I knew I was watching, just couldn't say it. Benny Malone, number 32. They put the ball on the 45 rather than the 46 where he appeared to land. It's 2nd down, however, and 5.5. Call it 6 yards. Langer over the ball. Morefield splitting left. Moore out to the right. Hand off again to Malone, and Malone is grabbed by the Raiders defender at the 47. Otis Sistrunk, or was it? No, it was Irons. Irons jammed in from the right side. At first I thought it was Gerald. No, well, he shouldn't have been there. By all rights, but he made a whale of a move to get there and stopped him on the 47. It's 3rd and 4.
I got the 2-point lead, Bill, giving Zonka a little bit of a rest. I know they got the 4th quarter to go, and from the looks of the scoreboard and the tempo of the game, that's going to be a barn burner. Very intelligent team. They're letting Malone carry a little bit and resting Zonka.
Again, Warfield to the left. Out to the right is Moore, and they've got Mandich at tight end on the left side. They go to him a lot in these situations. Chick is also in the backfield. Back is Gracie, setting up deep. Comes back. He has seized the football because Jones gets there, along with another Raider at the 37, Otis Sistrunk. And you can credit the defensive coverage on that one. They had Chick and Mandich in, who are both good receivers. The Raiders had everybody blanketed. Greasy had a lot of time, then he had to try to sidestep to look for somebody, and no longer could his men protect it. As Jones from Greasy's own left and Sistrunk from the right hemmed him in. Now Seifel into punt. Ron Smith back on the 22. He's a great return man in his own right. He'd like to break the big one here today. There's the snap. And Seifel kicks one. But Smith has to go to his left foot. Takes it, drops it, picks it up immediately to 25, and goes down at the 29. Good coverage down there that time. Langer was down again, along with Mumford and Nottingham. Seifel didn't kick him long, but he hangs it just enough so his coverage people can get down. And then Ron Smith's rhythm was broken. The ball popped out of his hand, bounded right in front of him. He got it right back. So the Raiders get the football back with a quick containment of the Dolphin offense. Now Stabler will try to get it rolling again. He had the rhythm in that drive early in the 3rd quarter. Slotting right, Branch inside Biletnikoff. Fred has caught 5 balls today. Stabler giving to Hubbard. Hubbard rumbles off left tackle and is dropped at about the 35. Matheson hit him down low, along with Colin. The defensive secondary, they have Henry Stuckey at right corner for Curtis Johnson on this series. He was in earlier as a 5th back. Charlie Babb is in for Jake Scott, has been since the 1st quarter, and it's Foley the left corner, and then Anderson the strong safety. Hubbard made 5.5 to 6. 2nd down. Stabler on a play fake. Back to pass. Here comes the rush. He steps to the left. He got free. He's got time, and he can't find anybody. Runs up the left side. 1st down. Goes out of bounds on the 39. Good intelligent move that time, as Kenny kept looking all the time. But as it didn't develop, he adds more and more to the open edge of the field, where Stansel finally forced him out.
And Eugene Upshaw, a great offensive player, and a guy who uses his head as well as his body. When he saw Kenny in trouble, he looked around for somebody to block, and he blocked the Dolphin, which allowed Kenny to make that 1st down.
Kenny's 11 for 20 today. Barely lost out to Kenny Anderson of Cincinnati in the AFC passing championship statistics for the year. Hubbard is out. Banaszak is in with Davis in the backfield. There's the slot to the left. Branch inside. Biletnikoff outside. Hand off to Banaszak, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage, and he may have gotten a yard and no more. And the play was made by Buoniconti, the middle linebacker. Nice across quickly. Nick in his 13th year out of Notre Dame, starting his career with the Patriots and then coming to Miami at the time of the Shula arrival. 16-14 Miami. It would have been 17, but Bubba Smith blocked the conversion after the last Dolphin touchdown. Greasy has thrown a touchdown pass today, and Stabler struck for a pair. Slot left. Stabler giving to Davis, sends him wide to the left, and he's stacked up and thrown for a loss back at the 37-yard line. They rode over Moore and Banaszak both as they tried to lead the blocking. Matheson made the tackle. The Miami defense is really stiffened here. And we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Oakland Raiders Football Network. Now it's 3rd and 12, and they go to the orange defense now. Stabler back, setting up. He's in trouble. Side steps, looks to the left. He's got an open field. He's going to run. He's at the 40. Comes back to the middle. Ooh, as he screamed at the 43. He was heading back to the middle to try to get up toward midfield when Matheson really blasted him. And Stabler, not finding people open here, is having to run. But now it's 4th down, and Guy will come in the punt. Oh, he evolved into a bit of a punting and defensive duel here. Well, that Miami secondary has been very effective in closing off the Raider patterns. Moore is the deep man. Shallow, you've got Babb and Anderson. Guy takes a snap. The boot is away. It's a low, hard-driven line drive, but could be returnable. Moore takes it on the 14. Hits to the left to the 20. Turns into his own man. Falls down. He's dropped at the 19-yard line. He ran into Nottingham, who's trying to block for him. That allowed Dennery and Johnson of the Raiders to get down and get him. 43-yard punt by Guy. Dolphins take over now. They lead 16-14 with only 30 seconds of life remaining to the third quarter. Minnesota blasted the Cardinals in the second half after the game was tied today. They broke out of that 7-7 tie and took an edge over St. Louis and then really forced them to do what they wanted them to do in Minnesota in that NFC playoff. Jonathan Malone in the backfield of the I formation. Warfield comes left, Moore to the right. Greasy gets to Zonka, sends him ripping up at right guard across the 25 to the 30. He's got a first down. Tatum hit him. He kept rolling on and finally was dropped by Irons at the 34, 33 and a half is where they're putting it. Zonka, one of his best runs of the day. He got 15 on that one. And now Oakland having the problem, number one, of containment, number two, of moving the ball themselves.
Larry Little, a great guard. Okay, Bill, there's the gun.
There's the gun sounding the end of the third quarter, and the scoreboard shows Miami 16, Oakland 14. The fourth quarter, Miami moving from our left to our right as we view the action here. The Dolphins are first and 10. 34-yard line, their own territory. The Raiders need that big defensive play. Warfield to the left. To the right is Moore. Quick pitch to the right side of Malone, turning the corner. He's got running room at the 35. Hammered at the 40 and goes down flying to the 41-yard line. Coming up to make the play was Monty Johnson. Fleming and Little were out in front leading the blocking, pulling out. And the Dolphins are making big first down yardage again. They did it in the first quarter. The Raiders shut that down in the second and early third quarters. Oakland in the orange defense with a rushing group up front of Sistrunk and Toms and Horace Jones. Tony Klein has not played today. Now they line up Warfield in tight. They send Malone out to the left, Moore to the right, both close flanked on 2nd and 2. This is a quarterback's dream situation. But he gets to Zonka, gets the first down with a bull-like rush up the middle of the 46-yard line. Jones made the stop. And so, Miami moving the football, controlling the clock, leading by 2. Right now, they're doing the thing that they most like to do.
This is their game. They're not really a team that likes to pass. If they can get out in front and just give it to their great backs and let that offensive line open holes, they're happy to do that.
They put the ball on the 45 for that first down. Now Warfield goes left. To the right is Moore. The Raider corners head and head with those two wide receivers. Greasy dropping back to pass. Looks, fires quickly up the left side. Moore makes the catch and gets checked. Warfield makes the catch and gets out of bounds on the 36. The Raiders had a rotating zone that time, and he went right into the area after he left Wilson, or Wilson left him, and before Atkinson rotated to him, and he made the catch and got out of bounds on the 40, make it the 36-yard line. Scotty had mentioned the Dolphins don't like to throw except on their terms, and they felt it was the right time. It's only the ninth pass today by Greasy. He's completed 5. It's first and 10. He keeps Warfield in sight on the left side again. Now pitch goes to Malone, circling the right side, gets a block from Little. Now he cuts upfield to the 32-yard line where he's knocked down on the play by Sistrunk. Little and Fleming out in front again, both excellent blockers in those situations. And the Dolphins get almost 5. It'll be second down and 5.5. Bubba coming in for the Raiders now, and Johnson comes out. Raiders got 4 rushers. Oakland has lost only once in 6 playoff games in their own bailiwick here, and that was that Kansas City loss when LaMonica had the injured hand. Slot left. Greasy brings Moore in motion from left to right. Thomas follows him across. The handoff to Zonka, and he rumbles over left side to the 28-yard line. Irons making the stop for the Raiders, along with Horace Jones. Kuchenberg, the left guard, was the blocking key that time. It'll be third down on the 33. 3rd and 3. It's important to the Raiders, Scotty, that they curtail this drive to no more than 3 points for the Dolphins. They get an 8-point lead, then they've got themselves a good situation. Warfield to the left, Moore to the right. Triangle over the ball. Long count by Greasy. Now he takes it, drops straight back. He looks, he throws to Warfield and drops the ball on the 20-yard line. He had some help. He had some help from Levi Wilson that time, who hit him hard at the moment of contact on that short out pattern. Scotty points out that Warfield appeared to take his eye off the ball for whatever reason. And now, with the ball on the 28-yard line, they're going to attempt a field goal from the 36. This is a 46-yard attempt. Ukrainian has not made one this long this year. Ball will spot. Snap, the spot, the kick on the way. It is good. Carol Ukrainian, his longest field goal of the year, 46 yards. And time is out on the field with 11:50 to go in the ball game. Scoreboard showing Miami 19, Oakland 14. The Raiders. And now the Raiders need either a touchdown or a pair of field goals to take the lead from Miami, even if Miami doesn't score. And he gets one high, but not deep. Hart waits under it at the 10. Comes out to the 15, to the 20, the 25. Finds the lane, breaks the tackle at the 30. Drives up to the 38-yard line. Nottingham was there, along with Larry Ball and Ed Newman to make the stop. Hart with a good return. The Raiders ready to operate, but in their last 2 possessions, they have not been able to get it going. After the one drive in the early third quarter that took them to the touchdown and the lead. More and more, that pass interference penalty against Villapiano looms as, and this is an overused phrase, but the pivotal or turning point of this football game. Poletnikoff wide to the right. Davis comes in motion to the left. Hubbard veers off from one tackler, runs into 3 more, and gets only a yard to the 39. Penetrating was Matheson from the linebacking spot, making Hubbard adjust his intended direction, and Stansel made the stop. 2nd and 9. So now the Raiders, unlike the Dolphins, not making yardage on first down, meaning the heat is on them on 2nd and 3rd. Branch to the left, Poletnikoff to the right. That way it's tough to keep defenders off balance. Stabler drops straight back, sets up and throws, and he's got it incomplete. I thought he had the completion as Poletnikoff was stripped of the ball at the moment of reception by Mumford just across the 50. By Foley, not Mumford. Just across the 50-yard line. Here it is, Scotty, in the third quarter, first down plays. Well, not just in the third quarter, but for the game. Miami 17 first downs, 111 yards, average 6.5. Oakland 19 first downs, 75 yards, average 3.1. Branch to the left, Poletnikoff to the right. 3rd and long, almost 10. Stabler back. Sets up a screen to Davis. Davis 35-40. Hesitates, runs into Anderson, who stops him. Anderson stops him at the 47, 2 yards short of the first down. And so Ray Guy comes on with a punting team. Davis couldn't get quite enough room to make the burst. A grim, tough struggle made all the more difficult for the Raiders today. When 15 seconds after the game started, they were looking at a 7-0 deficit. Dick Anderson drops back deep, along with Matt Moore. And Babb is deep. Guy takes a snap, lofts the punt high and deep. Moore waiting for it. He'll let it bounce at the 11. Raiders trying to cover it at the 5. It is down by a Raider on the right at about the 1-yard line. And then it squirts away and into the end zone. Harold Hart was down after it. It bounded on into the end zone out of his grasp as the Raiders and Dolphins swarmed around it. It's ruled to be on the 1-yard line. A hustling effort. The ball took a goalward bounce, and the Raiders' Hart got there before the Dolphins could block him off and let it go into the end zone. Time out of the field. 10-11 left to go. Scoreboard showing Miami 19, Oakland 14. We've got a raging argument between John Madden and the officials. The officials, after we cut away, indicated they had ruled that somehow Oakland downed that ball in the end zone. And they're ruling that Hart, after he juggled it, picked it up and established possession in the end zone rather than on the 1-yard line, which had originally been marked by the referee. It's ruled a touchback at the 20. Madden has been debating volubly on the sideline with Ken Tompkins, but to no avail. And now the Dolphins operate from the 20. And it appears on the replay that the call was correct. If indeed Hart had possession. Now that's the question. How much possession did he have? He had his hands on it. Now the Dolphins go to Howard Twilley, the veteran move man, in place of Moore, and one wide receiver. Very sure-handed. Warfield at the other. Zonka off left tackle to the 25. Knocked down by Irons at the 26. And there's a 6-yard gain on first down again. That's the name of the game for the Dolphins.
Oakland's in big trouble now, Bill, because the Dolphins in the last 2 series have been able to do what they do best, as you pointed out, and that's maintain ball control. Oakland down by 5 points. Under 10 minutes to go now in the ball game, and the Dolphins looking very, very strong at this juncture.
Warfield to the left. In the slot is Twilley again. 2nd and 4. Twilley comes back in motion to the right. Give the ball here to Malone. Follows Zonka through, and he gets to the 28. Over the right guard position. Villapiano made the stop. It'll be 3rd and 2 from all appearances, maybe a little less, depending on where they mark the football. Twilley is one of the 2 original Dolphins. Zonka today has averaged 4.6 yards per carry, Malone 4.8. Warfield goes out. Mandich is in. So we'll have double tight ends. 3rd and 2. Twilley about a yard off the right side. Fleming at right end. Mandich at left. Hand off to Zonka. Zonka first down to the 31-yard line. He was filled by Jones, but kept plowing ahead. And moving out was Kuchenberg to lead the way. And so the Dolphins keep doing it. And the time shows 8:30. And overhead, some blue sky, some clouds. All the fog area has dissipated. The Raiders' skies aren't particularly bright as they trail by 5. Mercury Morris watches from the bench where he's been all day and a lot of the year. But Benny Malone has done well in his stead. Now, slot right with Warfield back in. Back in the I formation. They send Warfield in motion back to the left, fouted across by Wilson. Hand off to Zonka, busting the middle to the 34-yard line. Tom submarines the play. Norm Evans, the right tackle, was the blocking lead on that. 2nd down and about 8. He made only a pair. The line of scrimmage is a 31.5. They marked it to the 34. About 7.5 to go.
One of the marks of this Dolphin team is their few mistakes, Bill. Oakland needs a breakdown, interception, or a fumble, but the Dolphins just don't seem to make those kind of mistakes in big games.
7:30 to go. Long count by Greasy. That uses time, too. Back into the pocket he goes. Sets up. Looks to Warfield. Throws. He's got a completion at the 45. First down. He's knocked out of bounds by Wilson. Warfield breaking the pattern off in front of Nehemiah. You've got to protect against his threat to go deep. He'll drive you off that line a little bit and then make his break to the side. Greasy now 6 for 11 on the day. Warfield 3 of the 6 receptions. Nottingham caught 1, kick 1, and Moore 1. Matt Moore, though, set the tempo and the tone for the day. Put the Raiders behind at the start with a kickoff return of 89 yards to open the game. Warfield to the left and Twilley to the right. Here's the handoff to Zonka. Didn't get a good start, but he kind of climbed the mountain of players and might have clawed out a couple of yards over the middle. Tom stacked up the blocking down low. 7:05 and counting. Miami leads 19-14. On the postgame show immediately after the game, man, Scotty Sterling will have his survey and summary of this game. A rehash of the St. Louis loss to Minnesota today. A look ahead at the playoffs. We'll be in the Raider locker room after his show with our locker room show and guests. Warfield to the left, Twilley to the right. Kick is in now. 2nd and 8. Raiders have been holding better on first downs in the last 2 first down opportunities. Hand off to Zonka, and Zonka on a misdirection is knocked down. Purba made the play. He made almost nothing. It'll be 3rd and 8. Mandich comes in. They go to him a lot in critical situations. That was one of those same Miami misdirection plays, but the Raiders were waiting for it. Malone is in for kicks. You've got Malone and Zonka in that backfield. This is the kind of a defensive stop now that the Raiders have to have here to force that punt, get their hands on the football. They haven't done much with the ball since the early 3rd quarter when they drove 60 yards and scored to take the lead briefly. Now with Warfield to the left and Twilley to the right, the Raiders are in the orange defense here. 3rd and 8. Greasy gives the ball to Malone. Power sweep to the right. He's got Johnson Little in front. It's the 50. Breaks the tackle. He's struck down from behind. Short of the first down on the 47-yard line by a pursuing Otis Sistrom. So the Dolphins forced to punt as Seifel comes into the ballgame. And now the clock shows 5:20 to go. Miami out in front by 5. The Raiders must make use of their next possession here. And 3 will not do it today. They've got to have the big 6 or a pair of 3. Ron Smith back deep on the 10. Hardin Hudson up at the 30. Seifel takes the snap, strides into the punt, hangs one up away from Smith, doing a good job of kicking away from Ron, and it sails out of bounds. The official marks it on the 15-yard line, which would be a boot of 32 yards. But preventing the return, that's twice he's kicked away from Smith, effectively. Timeout on the field. We have 4:54 to go. Scoreboard showing Miami 19, Oakland 14. Now the Raiders with the ball marked at the 16, not the 15. Ready to go to work. 1st and 10. Branch to the left, Paletnikov to the right. Dolphins in the orange defense. Stabler back, setting up to pass. Looks and throws. Caught Paletnikov, and he goes out of bounds on the 29. Some catch by Fred, right between defenders Matheson and Foley. Double coverage over there, and he got out of bounds with the ball. That's his 6th reception of the day. They mark it at the 28. 1st and 10, Oakland. Well, when Cincinnati got wiped out a few weeks ago by Miami, Ron Pritchard, the Cincinnati linebacker, says Miami is an execution machine. The Dolphins have been that more and more as the game has worn on since the mid-third quarter. Stabler 1st and 10, back again. Going deep to Branch up the left side. Head-and-head battle, and he makes a diving catch at the 30. He gets up, nobody's touching. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. Touchdown Raiders! Coliseum is coming apart here. Chris Branch made a diving catch, being covered on the play by Stuckey. Stuckey was deep behind it. Branch came back, dived, got up because nobody had touched him. Then he sprinted 20 more yards to score. 72 yards. Oakland is leading 20-19. And now Brandahan trying to make it a 2-point edge. Stabler will hold. Low snap, spot, kick. Good. And so, the Oakland Raiders, a team that has always had a time bomb hidden in its hip pocket, ready to lay on somebody. Got that time bomb exploded that time on the most incredible catch of the year by Cliff Branch of the Raiders. This 3rd-year Oakland Raider, world-class sprinter, 9-3 in the 100, 60 catches this year, 13 touchdowns. Just made probably the most important catch of his football life. 4 minutes and 37 seconds remaining. And the Miami Dolphins, a seasoned team, they've been through it all. They are still not a dead football team. Let me remind you of that. Now Jakovenko ready to kick off. For the record, the Raiders have operated 52 plays to 43 for Miami. The first downs are even now at 14 each. Moore is back there along with Ginn, and the kickoff is away to the sideline. Ginn takes it instead of letting him go out of bounds at the 10, up at the 20, 25, drives ahead to the 32-yard line. And now comes heart-stopping football. 4 minutes and 28 seconds to go. But Dolphins, a well-oiled offensive machine, now can't be content just to hang on to the football. But, Scotty, what's important, and Don Shula knows it, 3 points can win this football game.
That's right. The Raiders have to keep them outside of that field goal range. Yepremian was good today from 46, which was his longest kick of the year. Now, you've got to keep that in mind. That is the key thing. They've got to play the 50-yard line like the goal line. They simply must do that.
Here's Langer over the ball. Brazy, the quarterback. Sonka and Malone are the running backs. Warfield to the left. Matt Moore to the right. Raiders have their 4-man front with Bubba in the ballgame. Breezy back. He's going to throw if he can. He rolls out to the left away from the pressure. There's time. Throws up and completes the more at the 45 of the Raiders. Brought down by Wilson. Along with Villapiano. Oh, he put that ball in there right in the slot. So quickly the Dolphins, with still over 4 minutes left in the game, are getting into striking position. They're already in a situation now where they can nibble away to get to the field goal range, but always keep an eye on the possibility of the touchdown. And, of course, they know, too, that a touchdown in conversion would put it out of range of the Raiders, except by a touchdown for Oakland. Foley is to the right this time in the game. Handoff to Zonka. Boom, through two men, and is caught at the 40-yard line, but his momentum, even though his feet were held by Villapiano at the 40, carries him to about the 38. John Madden pacing nervously on the sideline as the Raiders have been on a roller coaster of emotion today. Zonka has 97 yards on 23 very persistent carries of the football. The ball is on the 38.5 of Oakland. And again, the Dolphins making big first down yardage. Second down and 4. Warfield to the left against Wilson. Twilley to the right against Skip Thomas. Breezy under center. Gives the ball to Zonka. Zonka drives to 35. Going to the 30. Running over people. Knocked down at the 23-yard line. Cole Warfield was out in front watching for him. And now the Dolphins are in field goal range, but they're not even worried about that right now. They know they can get a touchdown if they can find the right combination here and always keep the field goal in the hip pocket as insurance. 2:35 to go.
Oakland needs a big defensive play here, Bill. They need some kind of a hit that might force a fumble because it looks like the Dolphins are just too strong running on the ground.
The Dolphins haven't turned the ball over today. Warfield to the left, Twilley to the right. Breezy used the pass judiciously to start this drive. He gets him alone, sends him to the right. He's turning the corner behind Little at the 20, down to the 15. He rams one man out of the way at the 10. He goes all the way. Touchdown, Dolphins. Benny Malone with a startling run of 23 yards. And Miami is back in front 25-21. He just pulled, ran, smashed Skip Thomas out of the play as he went to tackle him. Very little was in front to clear the way from other would-be tacklers. It was Thomas who appeared to have him stopped, and he just banged him off. Ducked under another tackler and went into the end zone to spike the football. Here's Eupremian with a conversion. 2:08 to go right now as Eupremian waits. Morrow will hold. Snap, spot, kick is up. It is good. And so the Dolphins are back in front. And it took them 2 minutes and 29 seconds to do it. I have only one adjective to describe that sequence. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now with 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining to play, the Raiders are behind the 8 ball. It's they who must operate with their 2-minute offense as John Madden ponders this from the Oakland sideline. Stabler has thrown 3 touchdown passes today. 1 to Biletnikoff, 1 to Smith, 1 to Branch. And still the Raiders are trailing here, 26-21. The Dolphins went 68 yards in 4 plays. Here's Eupremian with a kickoff. He gets into it as Ron Smith takes it on the open 12. Up to the 20, 25, left sideline, and at the 32 is driven out of bounds by a Miami tackler, Ed Newman, along with Jarris White. And now the Raiders are 68 yards from the promised land and 2 minutes and 1 second remaining to do it. The possibility of a tie, as far as the numbers are concerned right now, quite remote. It's all or nothing at all. Miami has Stuckey at that right corner where he's been for Curtis Johnson the whole second half. Foley the left corner, Babb and Anderson the safety. Stabler on first down. Here comes the blitz by Ball, but it's picked up. He throws complete to Moore. Ooh, is he decked. Dick Anderson hit him a shot. Moore gets right up at the 38-yard line. He was really blasted. The 2-minute warning has gone to both benches. Timeout on the field. 1:56 left to go. Scoreboard showing Miami 26, Oakland 21. Now resuming the action, the Raiders have a second down and 4. The ball on Oakland's 38-yard line. They're now 62 yards from the promised land. 1:56 to go. They trail 26-21. Here's Buoniconti. He's taking a breath, and he comes, and Davis is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Stanfield. Buoniconti tried to come that time, was picked up, but those two front foremen made the stop on Davis, and the Raiders are now faced with 3rd and 3, and they're lining up without a huddle here with time at a premium, and this is a critical play. Slot right. Stabler going back to pass. He's looking. He throws. The top open at the 50, makes the catch. Down to the 43, and he's flat. The Dolphins dropping off in a present style of defense. Biletnikoff found the opening. Buoniconti, one of the tacklers, along with Dick Anderson. And for Biletnikoff, that's reception number 7 of the day. Time has been called. The Raiders have used one of their 3 timeouts. 2 left. They're now 43 yards from the promised land. Frank Pitts is coming onto the field now, and he'll replace Davis. So, Scotty, we're getting a little bit tactical ploy by the Raiders here. Pitts, a wide receiver, a vast experience, good speed, particularly on fairly straight patterns, replacing Davis. So this will give the Dolphins a little more to think about in the area of coverage.
Raiders have been getting excellent pass protection for Kenny, and of course, they can go with just one back there to pass protect the fullback and go with that 3rd receiver. You've got to put some heat on that secondary. You've got to find a spot in that zone. Now, Kenny's great strength, I think, as a quarterback is his ability to look at that zone and see where that open spot's going to be, and he knows the patterns, of course, and who might be in there. And Pitts is a big guy, and you like to call a receiver in that zone.
The Dolphins' defense is the orange. They have Larry Ball in with the front 3 of Ben Herter, Fernandez, and Stanfield. Branch to the left, Biletnikoff to the right. The corner's way off the line of scrimmage, 12-14 yards in the secondary. Stabler back. He steps up in the pocket, throws to Fred. Makes a great catch at the 25. What a pattern. He's knocked down by Babb at the 23. The clock running. 1:11 to go. 43 yards from the promised land. Miami 26. Oakland 21. Branch to the left, Biletnikoff to the right, lining up without a huddle. Stabler not hurrying it, though. He has Pitts now to the left, Branch is to the right in the slot inside Fred. And a quick throw now to Branch. Makes the catch. Gets out of bounds at the 20. That was a first down play. They made 4 to the 19 and a half. Stopped the clock at 52 seconds. Stabler operating now expertly. And comes back to the huddle. Kenny not coming to the sideline during this. Of course, it isn't a full timeout. The clock is stopped, so he's not even looking to the sideline. Here's Hubbard in for Banaszak. Stabler's 18 for 28, 279 yards. The last 6 games in which he's played the full game, he's passed for more than 200 yards. Dolphins still in the orange. Raiders 19 and a half yards from the promised land. Pitts to the left. Branch and Biletnikoff to the right. Back to pass. Stabler goes to Pitts. He makes the jiggling catch at the 14. It's a first down or close. Let's see what they rule. The clock is moving at 41 seconds. The officials eyeballing. And now they stop the clock because the Raiders have called the timeout. They don't have the first down. They're about a foot short, I think. And that'll make it 3rd and 1. Or 3rd and a half. Or 3rd and a foot. However you want to term it. Fritz made a great recovery. The ball hit him in the hands. Popped up in the air and he got it back before he was smashed. This football game has been all anyone conceived it could be. Between 2 great, evenly matched teams. Whoever loses here today can feel very, very badly indeed, because whoever loses today could just as easily be going all the way.
Bill, this game has been one of sway and flow, although on the whole you would have to think that the Dolphins, with that great ground game, have dominated. But there was that 3rd quarter when the Raiders went into the lead, when they moved down the field with Biletnikoff making those super catches and Kenny just picking that zone apart. And then it was the Dolphins coming back with that tremendous 4-play drive, using up 2 minutes after the Raiders had gone ahead on Branch's great catch and run. It's just in that kind of a football game. In truth, it's been what everybody said it would be. The mini Super Bowl, and if it gets any better than this, I don't know what it'll be.
54,020 are here, and I don't think anybody's left today. The ball on the 13.5-yard line. It is 3rd and about a foot. Now, Frank Pitts has come out. Stabler asks for quiet. He's got to get the first down. That's the primary importance. Hubbard is in. They give to Davis. Davis drives to the 8-yard line, heading off the left side. And the Raiders extend their last timeout. They are on the 8-yard line. It's 1st and goal to go. And now, 35 seconds are left. Clarence Davis starting off the ball and following a fire out of blocking from the left side of the interior line. As Davis and Hubbard are standing in the backfield, Stabler is talking to Madden at the sideline now. These are pivotal words and opinions being exchanged here. The crowd seeking itself for it hopes and explosion. But the Miami Dolphins, great pride, looking to be the first team ever to play in 4 straight Super Bowls and win 3 straight. They are a team that has been through it all, and they know that they could come up with one big play.
Boy, and the black socks and black hankies are out now, Bill. This crowd, like you said, not one soul has left, and they are letting those Raiders know just how they feel. This was really, I don't believe I've seen one as tense and as tight, and to use your word, as tingly in this park in its 9-year history.
35 seconds left. First and goal for Oakland. They trail 26-21. The promised land is 8 yards away. Branch to the left against Stuckey. Biletnikoff to the right against Foley. That's the pass goes Stabler. Looking. He runs. He's at the 15. He throws. It is a touchdown Raiders. Touchdown Raiders. I can't even see the receiver. Clarence Davis. It looks like Clarence Davis. He's being mobbed. Stabler was hit as he threw. He was falling down. Stabler threw the ball in a roof. I still can't tell. Is it Davis? I thought it was. It is a touchdown. Everybody in the booth, yes, here it is. Davis got it. Everybody in the booth believed with me it was Davis, but he went down in a heap of tacklers and then was mobbed by fans. The Raiders had taken the lead, 27-26. When Stabler had to loop the ball up because he was hit as he threw, it looked like he might have been lobbing it into the promised land for Miami. But no, Mike Cohen couldn't get there. Davis got there first, and it was the Raiders' promised land. Find the kick. The conversion is good. But now there are 26 seconds left, and you and I know what 26 seconds means in a National Football League playoff game. There was an instant when that ball was in mid-flight, and I thought Stabler wishes he had that one back.
Bill, I'll tell you why I wish he was going to think he had it back, because Fred Biletnikoff had run a beautiful pattern into the right corner of the end zone, and for a good 2 seconds he was open. Kenny did not see him. Fred was there waving his arms, and I thought, my goodness, he doesn't see him. He went to Davis, an incredible catch.
Now the Dolphins ready for the kickoff here. Yakovenko will probably try to bounce it. The Dolphins break up their wedge, so they have only 2 men in the normal wedge position and 2 up in the middle of the field where they might be able to pick it up. They're also looking for the possibility of the onside kick. They bring 4 men up across the 50 down to the nearly to the 45-yard line of the Raiders. Yakovenko ready to move from our right to our left. 26 seconds left to play. Here's the kick. He lines one hard. It bounds at the 15. It hits more at the 10. He puts it up to the 20. 25, cruising to the 30. He goes down at the 32. 21 seconds left. And the clock is stopped. And Greasy and the attacking unit come onto the field. And the great dynasty of the Miami Dolphins hangs by the slim thread of 21 seconds. The fans take up the defense chant. The fans have taken down this huge replica of a boned fish and are wandering around the stands waving it. Now the Raider defense. What will it be here? The orange defense, Monty Johnson. And 3 rushers. The Dolphins have Nat Moore and Warfield. Warfield to the left, Nat Moore to the right. Now Malone in the backfield. Greasy asks for a new football, or Jim Langer does. Malone and Zonka, the running backs.
With a 3-man rush, the Raiders are going to have to be very conscious of Bob Greasy and his ability to run with the football.
Now they're ready. They have the right ball. They are 67 yards away from a touchdown. They need 3 to win it, though. That's important, but there's only 21 seconds. Greasy retreats to the left. He goes way up the middle. Intercepted Filipiano at the 50. Time running down. 13 seconds to play. Oakland football. And I think Oakland victory. It's 13 seconds away from confirmation. The crowd going wild here at the Coliseum. Madden, in his delirium of joy, goes about 20 yards out onto the field to welcome the defenders and Filipiano. Filipiano gives Madden the football. He displays it for all to see. The ball on the 50-yard line. It's Oakland football. Time is out. All they'll do is fall on it.
Everyone here on his feet. Everyone here waving some sort of black fabric. It may be a cap. It may be a sock. It may be a jacket. It might be a job.
Bill, I know a Catholic priest who's in section 210. He's a great big heavy guy, Father Riley from St. Monica's in Moraga, and he's got a big black casket that he brought here. Now, he's a corpulent guy, and I'm telling you, he's using up a lot of this air with that black casket.
13 seconds left to go. I don't know who my guest will be in the locker room. It'll be pandemonium. We'll be with you next week from all appearances. On KNDR only, we'll be bidding goodbye to our network folks today. Hubbard rumbles down to the 45. The clock is moving. 7 seconds. The Dolphins stop it with a timeout. And like true professionals, they will take every opportunity to get whatever opportunity might exist to keep the final decision from being registered. Our KNDR flagship station, all of the network stations, all of our sponsors, all of our crew here in the booth, wish you and yours the merriest of Christmases. And next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, when the Raiders meet Pittsburgh or Buffalo here, we'll be with you at 12:40 Pacific Standard Time on KNDR only. Now Stabler, 7 seconds left. Gives the ball to Hubbard. And Hubbard clinches with it for a couple, 3 seconds. And the clock is stopped by the Dolphins. They use another timeout. 3 seconds to go. The crowd can't count the clock down. Some of the fans start on the field. But in an incredible display of orderliness, when motioned back by the officials, they went right back on.
Well, maybe they learned a lesson around here, Bill, because in a lot of parts, you know, this game would not be able to continue at this point. I think about Pittsburgh and that incredible game 2 years ago when there were 5,000 people on the field at this point.
Now the Raiders, 3 seconds left. Oakland 28, Miami 26. Stabler can fall on it here if he wants. He gives it to Hubbard. Runs to the left. Time is out. It's over. Hubbard's still on his feet. Smashed by Poland. The ball game is over. The Miami Dolphins are dethroned. And the Oakland Raiders move to the championship round of the AFC. John Madden with that precious football in his big, meaty right hand. All 260 or 70 pounds of it hoisted atop the shoulders of his players. The crowd milling around. And the final score shows Oakland 28, Miami 26.
This incredible Oakland Raiders football game has been brought to you by United Delco and your local United Delco dealer nationwide. The more you know, the more you want Delco. By the yellow pages of your phone book. Look in the yellow pages to find whatever you need fast. By your Northern California Datsun dealer. With inflation the way it is, why buy a new car at 75 prices when you can buy a new Datsun at 74 prices? By Taylor's Super Drug Stores with 33 stores to serve you in Northern California, and by Blue Shield's Coronet 365. Call or write Blue Shield today about this great new individual family plan. Blue Shield is the plan people trust. Shield, that is. And stay tuned for the locker room report, which will follow as soon as Bill King can make his way through the crowd and reach our microphone position in the Raiders locker room. And this is Scotty Sterling at the Oakland Coliseum with a recap of today's game and other comments until we switch to Bill King in the Raider locker room. Canal game, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Oakland Coliseum. I would guess that a third of the 54,000 people who attended this game are still here as the Oakland Raiders, coming from behind all day long, finally won out 28-26 over the Miami Dolphins, which I have to say, in my 20 years of being around professional football, is the most fantastic game that I have witnessed. Kenny Stabler, what can you say? 4 touchdown passes, the last one coming with virtually a half minute left on the clock. He was falling down. He threw to Clarence Davis, a halfback in the end zone. Davis had 3 Dolphins around him. They all went up, and Clarence came down with the football. It was Boletnikoff on another fantastic catch earlier in the corner of the end zone. It was Cliff Branch catching one, falling down, getting up, and outracing the Dolphins to complete a 72-yard bomb. And it was Charlie Smith, sometimes this year the forgotten man of the Oakland Raiders, but a guy who has always made big plays, particularly in this park. It was he who scored Oakland's first touchdown on a pass from Stabler. And it was the Dolphins coming, fighting back, using that great ground game with Zonka and with Malone and with Greasy, as cool a field general as you're ever going to see, fighting back twice themselves from deficits to overtake Oakland, and then seen in the final analysis is great Oakland offense, the thing that's kept Oakland up there all year, coming through with Stabler just being magnificent in his first full year as a quarterback of this football team. Now we'll review this for you from the beginning, and please excuse us that we lose our voice because we've been yelling almost as much as the people in the stands here. But this game opened on an incredible note, almost as incredible a note as it closed on. The Raiders kicked off. The opening kickoff was taken by Nat Moore, on the Dolphin 11, and he returned it all the way, 89 yards for a touchdown. The Raiders were stunned. 54,020 people in attendance here were stunned, and the Dolphins, who scored first against Oakland in that playoff game last year, the championship game, were out in front 7-0 with 14:45 still to go in the first period. Only 15 seconds had elapsed, and the Dolphins, a team that you just don't like to get behind, were out in front of the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders, however, called on that great pride and poise. They didn't panic. They went to work. They had 2 possessions. They lost the ball the first time on an interception. The second time, they showed they could move a little bit. They came from deep in their own territory out to their own 49, and they punted. The Dolphins had one other possession late in the first period. They got to the Raiders 37, but that ended when they had to punt. So the first period closed with the Dolphins out in front, 7-0, as was the case in that great game last year. But the difference was this. Now, in the second period, the Raiders tied it with a typical 1974 Raider big play. They drove 47 yards to Miami's 31. At that point, John Madden, who this year I think made some incredible coaching decisions, sent Charlie Smith into the game with the play. The play was Smith coming out of the backfield and then just rolling straight down the middle of the field. Stabler saw him. He spotted him in the end zone. It was a perfect hookup into the end zone. Smith scoring a touchdown. Blanda was good with a point after, and it was tied 7-7 with 7:39 left to go in the second period. But the Dolphins, a great championship team and a team that knows how to fight back, regained the lead on a 34-yard field goal by Gary Yepremian. It climaxed the 47-yard drive. The field goal made it 10-7 with a minute and 1 second left in the first half, and that's the way the first 2 periods closed. Miami in front, 10-7. In the third quarter, an incredible 13-yard catch by Fred Biletnikoff. He was under the tightest coverage you can imagine in the end zone. He went up, he hit the ball, he came down, he reached for the ball, kept both feet inbounds to score the touchdown. Now, earlier, they had taken one away from him like that. We had the replay here, and it was a fantastic call. But this time, with a second opportunity, Fred was good. He batted that ball in the air, he came down with it, both feet in the ground, and the Raiders had a touchdown, and it had showed great strength in moving 60 yards in just 9 plays to get that counter. Stabler making great use of both the run and the pass in that drive. Blanda good again. Oakland out in front for the first time, 14-10 with 8:05 left in the third period. But the Dolphins came back just like the champions they are, and they moved 65 yards in just 6 plays. They have a great ability to move a long distance in a few plays. This time, 65 and 6 for a touchdown. The TD came on a 15-yard pass to the incomparable Paul Warfield. Nehemiah Wilson covering Warfield slipped on one of Warfield's moves. Warfield was all alone in the end zone. Grease had no problem hitting him. But what was almost a crucial play in this game, it was set up by a pass interference call against Phil Villapiano at the Raider 15. It was 3rd and 7 at the Raider 45. Greasy was way off target with the ball. They would have to have punt, but they called Villapiano for pass interference against Jim Kick, the halfback. It was a very, very close call. You would say it was legitimate, but the kind that you see quite often that aren't called. But that was almost the pivotal point in this game. The point after touchdown was blocked by Bubba Smith, and that was a key. It remained the Dolphins 16-14 with 6:38 left in that period. There was no more scoring. But now into the almost unbelievable fourth quarter, Gary Yepremian hit his longest field goal of the season, 46 yards. Now, it didn't seem off the kind of year he's had that he would be good from there, but this was a playoff game, and he responded to the challenge. At 46 yards, he capped the 53-yard drive, and it moved Miami's lead to 19-14, and it looked dark for Oakland at that point. But the Coliseum exploded when Stabler, for the 1st and 10 in his own 28, and with just 4:49 left, hit Branch with a 72-yarder. Now, Cliff went on a streak up the left sideline, a familiar play. He came back for the ball. He dove for it and caught it on his stomach in front of the Dolphin defender. He got up, made one little move to the outside, and out raced Stuckey, the Oaklander, who played here at Merritt College, into the end zone for the touchdown to complete a 72-yarder. The point after was good. Oakland was out in front, 21-19. But the incredible Dolphins exploded themselves, coming right back 68 yards in just 4 plays to take what seemed to be all the heart out of Oakland. The touchdown came on Malone's 23-yard run around the end. The point after was good. It was 26-21. But with 2:01 left, back came the Raiders. The heroics weren't over. They marched 68 yards in 8 plays, and it was climaxed by Clarence Davis making an incredible catch in the end zone on a throw from Stabler, who was hit. He was falling forward. He just did get the ball in there from about the 12-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 8. Davis went out with 3 Dolphins. He came down with the football, and there it was with 26 seconds left to go. Oakland 28-26. And we'll be back with more on today's game in 1 minute. Into the championship game, that will be played here a week from tomorrow. That is the 29th of December in the Oakland Coliseum against the winner of tomorrow's Pittsburgh-Buffalo game. I remind those who have KMDR that on Bob Furry's post-game review, we will replay the final 2 minutes and 1 second. That's a complete final Raider drive that resulted in this climaxing touchdown, which gave Oakland a 28-26 victory. So if you're in your car or if you're at home, stay tuned to KNBR for that. And I also remind KNBR listeners that Ask the Raiders, normally heard on Tuesday nights, will be heard next week on Monday, since Tuesday will be Christmas Eve. So the Raiders here, 28-26 over the Miami Dolphins. And we'll hear from Bill King in just a moment.
Thank you very much. And here in the Raider locker room, you can imagine it's been a scene of jubilation. This Raider team, an experienced veteran team, still knowing there are 2 steps before they achieve the ultimate, nonetheless not holding back in any of the exuberance and joy of the incredible win over the defending champions who now no longer can defend their championship. And we'll have Phil Villapiano here with us, a pivotal man in the Raider defense today. He'll have some first-hand comments about today's game in just a moment. But I remind you that today's Locker Room Report is brought to you by Air California, the airline that jets you to Southern California from Oakland, San Francisco, and San Jose. Remember, that's Air California. We care. Well, 54,000 Raider fans cared greatly to stay to the finish of perhaps the best football game in the history of the Oakland Raiders franchise. I can't remember a better one. Phil Villapiano, our guest, before asking specifics, what's your feeling like that?
Bill, I'm the happiest man alive. There's just no way to tell you how happy I am. And, God, it's just the greatest feeling I've ever had. The biggest game, the greatest feeling. I love it.
And you beat the greatest football team you could ever hope to beat, I believe.
Darn right, Bill. Those guys are unbelievable. I can't believe we did it. It's, you know, I mean, I thought all week we were going to beat these guys, but when you have to get out there to do it, it's so different. They're a great football team, and the toughest suckers I've ever played against. And, man, I'm just so happy. It's unbelievable.
Bob Hubbard went by here a few minutes ago and chatted with me, and he said, I have never in any football game been so up and down in my life. He said, 1 minute I thought, oh, we can't lose. He said, the next minute I felt, my God, there is no justice for the Oakland Raiders. And he said, the next minute then I was back up on a pinnacle again.
So it's unreal. What happened out there today? It was the biggest seesaw game I've ever seen. I just kept remembering this year in Buffalo when Art picked up the fumble and then they scored on us. In Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, I just kept remembering those type of games because I said, we can do it, you know, whenever we got down, and I'd be damned if we didn't do it. It's unreal that the guys, man, our offense was super. Dan Clarence Davis catching that pass was just unbelievable. I love him, and it was just great.
I might add, too, we said in the booth that probably there was a moment when Kenny Stabler released that ball because he couldn't drill it. He was hit at the time of release, and the ball lobbed to the end zone where there were a lot of coverage people, and it was a grab bag. And Kenny confirmed it a few moments ago. He said probably it was a dumb pass, but he said sometimes you get away with things like that.
That's unreal for him to say that. I'll tell you, if the dumbest things happen, man, it was great because I don't know how he got it in there. I noticed about 3 guys on Clarence. He just took a lot of guts on Kenny and a lot of guts on Clarence to hold on to it and fight those guys off. And that's what we've been scraping for and been trying since Santa Rosa to do is get ourselves where we're going to make plays like that. And I'd be darned if we didn't do it. And it's just great.
Phil, you were involved in 2 pivotal plays today. The one at the end, of course, that put the lock on it because you know the Dolphins, like the Raiders, with any time left, are a threat to somehow pull a game out. And Greasy on his first pass in their last footing life threw up midfield. Did you have a beat on it all the way?
But Bill, not really. You know, it was the exact same play they used the time before. You know, we went out into a zone defense, and everything was looking just the same. And all of a sudden, I said, you know, the play, remember the one the drive before when they completed it and they got the big game? I didn't go far enough over. You know, I was kind of in Danny's zone. But, you know, like when he's rolling, everybody moves over, and I just didn't go far enough, and the guy caught the ball. This time I said, I'm going all the way. I don't care. He threw it right to me. It was the exact same play. We had worked for him before, and I guess they thought it was going to work again.
The other pivotal play I felt was after the Raiders got the lead for the first time, 16-14. It was a third down play, driving in Oakland territory. You covered kick coming out of the backfield, down the right sideline. Greasy went to him, missed him badly. I saw the replay. They called you for pass interference. My judgment on the replay was that technically they were correct, but it was the kind of a play that, had it not been called, would not have been controversial.
Definitely not. I don't know if it was correct or not. I can't wait to see it, Bill, but I'll tell you, you know, I made the play on him, and then he just started sprinting down the sideline. So I just was running with him. He had no idea where the ball was, and he was like about a foot from out of bounds. I think I'm right. He was so close to being out of bounds. I was on the inside of him.
Right.
The ball was about 3 or 4 more yards on my inside, and he's like elbowing me as he's running. It was no pushing. It was just kind of elbow-like thing. It was the cheapest call. I swear I never cussed at a ref so much in my life. It was the worst call I've ever had on me. And I tell you, I've had a lot of those kind of calls, but this was really terrible.
It reminded me a lot in basketball of a guy who draws the foul by maybe initiating a contact and acting pretty well.
Yeah, I guess that's exactly what it was. Kick was quite happy with it. He didn't believe he didn't believe they called it. And I'll tell you, Bill, our offense has been made me a happy man because after that play and a couple in the end, I was really down like a dog in our offense. We did so great, you know. And I guess it's just a team, you know. It's just a great team effort.
I want to talk to you some more, Phil. We'll do that when we continue from the Raiders locker room right after this word.
If you're going to Orange County, there's a good chance you're doing it the hard way. The easy way is on Air California. Sunjets departing 120 times a week from San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland. And you get there in an hour on non-stop flights. It's the easy way to get down to business in Orange County. And for fun, there's Air California's Happy Hop Tour to Disneyland. To make it easier on the pocketbook, Air California has money-saving military fares, group discounts, and the only family plan anywhere. In fact, if there's an easier way to get you there, Air California will be the first to tell you. So call Easy Information. If their schedule doesn't quite match yours, they'll still help you find the easy way. And one call can get you hotel reservations, rental cars, even the weather. Now, that's certainly not hard to take. Fly 737 Sunjets to 8 major regional airports statewide.
Air California.
We're easy to take.
Bill King back in the Oakland Raider locker room with linebacker Phil Villapiano. The Oakland Raiders have defeated the Miami Dolphins. You know something? I forgot the score right now. 28-26, that's right. Things swung back and forth so much in the last few minutes of play that it is evaporated from my mind for the moment. Phil, first we talk about the mental up. John Madden. John, just one word. How do you feel?
Super.
There's a man of his word. Now, Phil, we talk about the mental aspect of the game. Nat Moore breaks an 89-yard kickoff return to start it off.
Unbelievable. They weren't going to score on us all day, and then they openly played a score. I mean, it was the most unreal game, Bill. What happened out there, I can't explain it. Our defense was so psyched they weren't going to score. So they break the opening kickoff and score. Then we hold them all game, and then all of a sudden they have a fiasco. It's getting points like nothing. It was unreal.
What were they doing? Was it just a matter of pure overpowering you on that last drive where they just drove bang, bang, bang for the TD?
I'll have to look at it, Bill, but they're just so good, and they blocked so well. You know, it got right down to it, who's going to block and who's going to tackle, and they just opened those holes, and they ran right through it. They really did.
It was really awesome, I'll say that. Now, the other thing I thought that was very intriguing was the way the coaches had prepared, I think it had its effect. Everything has little effects. Nothing maybe is the total in itself. And that is your 13-man huddle early in the ballgame. I thought that it took some of the early momentum away from the Dolphin team, which specializes in getting early momentum.
You're right, Bill. That's really a good thing. And, you know, when we played Kansas City a couple weeks ago, they did the same thing to us on the offense. And it really affects the defensive guys. Because we look, you know, when I see two guys come out, I take for granted that they're going to stay in the game. You know, two guys come out to one side, and I think that they're going to be strong that way. All of a sudden, one guy goes away, and it screws you up a little bit. And it was just a little something to take off their early momentum, their timing, their poise, whatever you're going to say. And it's a good little technique to use, you know.
It certainly was effective, and I think it made the game even more of a brilliant gridiron chess game out there. Now, of course, you got either Pittsburgh or Buffalo, and there's that terrible cliched question, which one do you want? Any answer is a trap. I'm not going to ask you that particularly because there's a great rivalry between both clubs, and certainly you do have to think back to the loss on the opening night of the season. It would be nice to make retribution.
It would be. It'd be real nice to take those guys and show them that we can beat them, because I think they got a little higher after that game. But like I said, I don't care who we find. I'm just so happy that we got the opportunity to prepare for those guys, because like we should be going home. But now we got the opportunity. We're going to settle down and go out and have a good time tonight and get to work on them, and we're going to beat whoever it is. We don't care.
Christmas will be a working day, but indeed a very merry one.
I sure will. Right, Phil.
All right, Phil, you take those gift certificates along with you and enjoy them.
Thank you, Phil.
Phil Villapiano, our guest today, one of a great covey of Oakland Raider heroes. Merry Christmas, Phil. And the statistics show a lot of the heroes. The statistics also don't show a lot of the others. The people on that defensive line, the people in the defensive secondary, the offensive line, which they were praised to the skies. It allowed Kenny the time to stand, almost as if reading a newspaper in critical situations, to find the receiver he wanted in that Miami secondary, one of the great defensive secondaries of football. And Stabler wound up at 20 for 30 for the day with 4 touchdowns. He had 1 interception. His longest was, of course, the 72-yarder to Branch. That was an incredible play itself when Branch made a super diving comeback catch, got up because Henry Stuckey, the cornerback, had gone by him, had not made contact, and Branch ran the remaining 32 yards for the touchdown. Incidentally, Phil Villapiano, like all of our guests, going to receive that $50 gift certificate. Reporters, Sports Illustrated reporters, even the voted Rick Smith is back in the Bay Area to take this one in today. He's always where the biggies are. All right, let's look at the statistics here. Might I add, too, Phil Villapiano told me, as did some of the other Raiders, off mic, they said, hey, listen, that fan display today, the black socks, the black fabric, the entire concept that originated with Pittsburgh in the first-round game a year ago here with the banners all over the Coliseum, had a great emotional effect on this Oakland football team playing before the home fans. This is astounding. The Raiders went for 411 total yards against that Miami team. The Dolphins went for 294. Oakland had 19 first downs to Miami's 18. They ran 64 plays to Miami's 57. In the passing column, Stabler, for the sixth consecutive time in which he played the full game, bested the 200-yard mark. 293 yards on his 20 out of 30. 4 touchdowns to go with his 26 on the regular season, which was the best in the NFL. Bob Greasy, still the valiant and brilliant quarterback of the Dolphins, 7 for 14, passing sparingly, only when he wanted to, usually only when he felt he had the defense off balance until that last one when it was desperation time. But he made only 101 yards, yet he threw 1 touchdown. Zonka rushed for 114 and 24 carries and another awesome display. Even though he was stopped at times, he reached back during their last touchdown drive and just blew the Raiders aside. Young Benny Malone, 83 yards and 14 carries. Oakland's leading rusher, Davis, 59 and a dozen carries. Hubbard, 55 and 14. Phipps Banaszak, 14 and 3 carries. Fred Biletnikoff was the receiver par excellence today for consistency, and the number of clutch catches that Fred made are almost uncountable among his 8. He made one that was disallowed, and a brilliant call by the official as he was barely out after a defender tipped the ball. He caught the ball in the end zone, but 1 foot was just about 3 or 4 inches out. Fred said afterward in the locker room, he told me, I thought so. He said, I just wondered what the replay showed. He made another touchdown catch in the end zone that he deflected himself for control while managing to stay barely inside the sideline. He split the seams of the zone on 2 very critical catches during Stabler's brilliantly directed final drive. So Fred, with 8 grabs today, was by far and away the leader. Branch and Moore had 3 each. Charlie Smith and Clarence Davis 2 each. Marv Hubbard and Frank Pitts 1 each. And every one of them had a deciding and important factor in the ball game. And Charlie Smith, who has had the kind of a year in which most players probably wouldn't be too happy if playing time has been limited, yet he came up with a touchdown pass against Dallas down the middle Saturday night, a week ago, and ran the same pattern for the first Raider touchdown today. Everybody made a big contribution. In recognition of that, the game ball today was awarded to everybody. All 47 of the Raiders and their coaching staff to boot gets one. And, of course, I guess we've had emotional day after emotional day at the Coliseum in Oakland over the years, the 9 years the Raiders have played here. Maybe there's another emotional day to equal this one next week. I don't see how it could be. It's got to be a matter, however, of the same motivation for the Raiders, whether it's Buffalo and O.J. or the Steelers and their brilliant defense. It'll be a battle royal. And our airtime on KNBR only will be 12:40 Pacific Standard Time a week from tomorrow on Sunday the 29th. Have I forgotten anything else? I don't know. If I have, it's too late to recap it. Too late to recover it. This one has to be as great a game as the Oakland Raiders have ever been involved in. The final score, Oakland 28, Miami 26. We'll let you think about it now. Until next week, Phil King speaking. This is the Oakland Raiders Football Network.